is in the cut-off point for higher rates of income tax. Additional electricity credits and tax credits for renters were included in the €11 billion package. Minister Michael McGrath says the measures will go a long way to help offset rising inflation.
Our analysis shows that for the poorest households, the households with the lowest levels of income, they will benefit by between 10 and 11% over that period of time. So I think those measures, will be really welcome, will definitely be needed by those households because their level of income is modest.
Meanwhile, the Environment Minister has defended the increase in carbon tax by €7.50 a tonne from next month. Eamon Ryan says the money is needed to invest into solutions to reduce carbon emissions, such as retrofitting homes.
We've gone from doing 15,000 houses last year. Next year we'll do 30,000, 27,000 I think it is, we're aiming for. And it's that certainty that the money you raise is going to help people improve their homes, is going to increase social welfare protection, it's going to help small farmers switch. That's the real strength of it.
Scrapping the reduced VAT rate for hospitality industry has been described as a devastating blow by the Vintners Association. The government said the 9% rate currently in place for that sector will end on the 28th of February. CEO of the Vintners Federation of Ireland, Paul Clancy, warns the higher amount may be passed on to customers.
That 4.5% would need to be put back onto the price of a bill, and that affects inflation, and that affects the attractiveness of people to come out and eat in pubs all over the country, and that's something Republicans do not want to do. They don't want to increase their prices. They want to remain competitive in a tight market where people have less disposable income.
Finally, voting has ended in the so-called referendums in 4 occupied regions of Ukraine on whether or not to form part of Russia. Preliminary results have already been released by the state media in Moscow. They report at least 96% of votes counted so far are in favour of joining. And that's your news for now.
News Talk Weather.
Thanks to Ryanair. Best present ever. Give them a Ryanair gift card and they'll love you forever.
Any rain or drizzle mainly confined to the west and southwest tonight, turning patchy with just isolated showers, staying cool with lows of 5 to 10 degrees. Now you're up to date on News Talk.
The News Round on Off the Ball.
With Gillette, for an effortless finish to your day. New Gillette Labs Razor with exfoliating bar.
This is News Talk.
Greetings from the Aviva Stadium. Final Nations League game of the campaign for Stephen Kenny and Ireland this evening. A campaign which started with Armenia in Yerevan. The less said about that, the better. We will finish with Armenia in Dublin. Live commentary is coming your way. 53106, the text number. We're at Off the Ball on Twitter. This is very much the news round, so it's brought to you as ever with thanks to Gillette Labs for an effortless finish to your day. Nathan Murphy, good evening.
Good evening, Joe.
One of those thankless task assignments for Stephen Kenny in Ireland this evening. Win and everybody says so what, lose and all hell will break loose.
It sure will. I don't think the Irish public would ever be accepting of losing at home to Armenia, particularly when you've dropped points against Azerbaijan and been beaten by Luxembourg here over the last couple of years. And it is incredible the intensity that comes with an international break. It's a slow bubbling build-up, and suddenly you play well against Scotland, you lose the game, and it does feel yet again we're into a referendum on Stephen Kenny's future tonight. For right or wrong, on whichever side of the divide you fall, though at home against Armenia and the complete collapse that they have had in form since that victory in Yerevan at the start of this campaign means anything less than an Irish victory would be a disaster.
It tends to be a referendum debate he's more than happy to partake in. So reading Gavin Cummiskey in the Irish Times, who's going to join us in a few moments, the line went that Stephen Kenny said to the press, well, I'm certainly not getting into a debate now on where we are overall. Kenny sensibly replied before fueling the debate. If you're asking what progress we've made, I suppose the fact we've integrated 16 players and given them their competitive debuts in the last 18 months, and in a year's time they will be even better. You can see that, and that's by design. And that's very much his line. I suppose in a year's time we'll know how the Euros campaign has gone, so it will all come down to that. As for this evening, we have 2 changes, one enforced, of course, Nathan.
We do. Josh Cullen is suspended, and Josh Cullen is the one player in the team that there's really no like-for-like replacement for, but as expected, Jeff Hendrick will slot into the middle of midfield alongside Jason Malumbi and Jason Knight. I think we all expect Jason Knight to play slightly more advanced than he did against Scotland, and maybe with a bit of freedom for Hendrick as well, with Malumbi occupying more of that number 6 role. The other change sees Robbie Brady return on the left-hand side in place of James McLean. It's his first start for the national side in almost 2 years. He's just been wrecked with injuries for going on 4 or 5 years at this stage. It's just been non-stop. But Stephen Kenny's always been a huge fan of him. He's obviously a very different type of player to James McLean. Dare I say a bit more cultured maybe on the left-hand side. Probably not the same sort of work rate, and it'll be interesting to see how he deals with a game and a night of this sort of intensity. He's been playing first-team football for Preston, but this, I think, is a whole different level for Robbie Brady this evening. But it's brilliant to see him back in a green jersey yet again. Aside from that, I don't think anyone expected too many changes. Chio Ogbene may find that he's a little bit unlucky with the form he's in at club level and the fact that he came on and made a real impression. But when I arrived here, Stephen Kenny was out on the pitch for a good 10 minutes talking to Troy Parrott and Michael Obafemi. Everybody else had gone back into the dressing room. He had the arm around the two of them. They were laughing, they were joking. I'd imagine just trying to get the two of them to relax a little bit and to try and remember the last time they were here and that 3-0 victory against Scotland when they linked up so brilliantly. So not a huge surprise that he's decided to go with the two of them again on home soil. So the full side, which again has 7 players under the age of 23, and there's never been a transformation like this in Irish football. Regardless of whether you think it was the right thing or the wrong thing to do, Stephen Kenny has stuck with it, to the extent that now when you look at the squad, Jason Malumbi is the most inexperienced midfielder in it, and he's winning his 16th cap this evening. So these guys have been there, they've done that, they've suffered some disastrous, heartbreaking defeats, so you would think tonight they should be ready for an occasion like this. So Gavin Bazunu in goal. The back three of Nathan Collins, John Egan and Darragh O'Shea. Matt Doherty keeps his place on the right hand side despite that mistake in Scotland. Robbie Brady comes in on the left. The midfield three then of Malumbi, Hendrick and Knight, and Troy Parrott alongside Michael Obafemi up front.
If you think Stephen Kenny is under pressure, spare a thought for Armenia and their manager Joaquin Kaparau. They were beaten 5-0 against Ukraine's second string on Saturday in Yerevan, and in the post-match press conference the local journalists refused to ask any questions, and they insisted instead that he resign on the spot immediately in the press conference. He refused to do so. He said, my contract runs up until November and I'm sticking around till November. So that is the shape in which Armenia pitch up in Dublin. You would think, everything suggests they're very much there for the taking. Obviously Yerevan lingers in the mind somewhat from an Irish point of view. I would say of all the journalists I spoke to in the last half hour and I asked predictions, the most common answer was 3-0. Although I should, Gavin Cooney asked me, what do you think? And I said 4-0. And he said, to Ireland? That is the dark humour which pervades down there. But I think the general expectation, once it's not one of those tricky games where an early goal doesn't come for a long time and there are a few groans, but I think the general expectation is that Ireland should win this comfortably.
Well, the early goal is the key, just to relax everybody. And I thought Vincent Hogan made a very good point on the pay-per-view on Sunday when he said the patience will snap at some stage. And if this game is 0-0 with 10 minutes to go, I think we'll see the patience starting to snap. And maybe there'll be a bit of a change in that connection between supporters and management and players.
Do you think so? My sense is the supporters seem full behind them, almost
right now I think they do, but I think this is a different. Remember, an awful lot of these games were played behind closed doors. I can't imagine any Irish supporters would have sat here while they were being beaten 1-0 by Luxembourg and politely applauded and said, thanks for the day out, lads. You're learning, we're all learning something. I think when it comes down to it and the proper emotion kicks in on a Tuesday night, it looks like there's going to be around 40,000 here. If you're struggling against Armenia, and again, if you're struggling and you're not scoring, I don't think anyone can say you're playing well or there's progress or we're possession-based football. You know, you've got to create a lot of chances, you've got to score some goals. But there's nothing to suggest over the last 3 games that should happen. Like, it feels as though they have gone on another gear, particularly in the 2 matches against Scotland and even against Ukraine. They played some good stuff. So it'd be interesting to see what would happen in that scenario. I'm with you. I think they should get an early goal, and 3-4-0. Armenia are in crisis. Like, it does sum up the madness of international football and how the spotlight on managers is so different, even maybe to club level, where like Joaquin Kaparau would well be within his rights to turn around to Armenia and say, what's your problem? I have managed my entire life in Spain, managed Villarreal, Sevilla, Deportivo La Coruña, Athletic Bilbao, and now I'm coming to manage Armenia and you don't want it? Like, we just beat Ireland 4 games ago. We're in League B. But, you know, you lose a couple of games. They've obviously taken a couple of heavy beatings, and it does feel as though like they are in total crisis mode right now. So yeah, I think 3-0 you would take. 2-0 probably raises that. Oh, you want to be beating Armenia by more than that. I thought we were going to see attacking football and we're only scoring 2 against Armenia. 3-0 at home you'd always take.
It is precarious business. I would think after about 75 minutes last night, Gareth Southgate was a very worried man, so things can change quickly. By the way, just to mention, the FAI, the current iteration of the FAI, are in the business of making amends, I think, to various parties. So a nice touch this evening, Brian Kerr and his team from Malaysia, which of course finished third at the Under-20 World Cup in '97. They are very much on the guest list for the Aviva this evening, and the FAI is going to present them with their caps from 25 years ago. I was surprised that they didn't receive their caps in the interim, but apparently not. The other interesting fact, just Damien Duff and Glenn Crowe with 2 caps went on to play senior football for Ireland from that team, whereas the Argentinian team who beat them 1-0 in the semi had 10 players who played senior football. And that just seems an extraordinary stat, but there we go. These are the peculiarities of top-level football. Nathan is staying with us. Gavin Cumiskey from the Irish Times is with us as well. Gav, you're very welcome. So Nathan and I chatting about the last couple of days. Your general take on Stephen Kenny ahead of kick-off this evening and where the Ireland team is ahead of this evening?
I think it was pre-planned. Bring the 2 veteran dubs in, the heroes from 2016, the 2 Dublin schoolboy friends, Hendrick and Brady. Good idea, but it feels like it was pre-planned. I'm just looking on the pitch now, Joe. They look like a rabble, Armenia. They're doing, like, there's a real structure to Ireland's warm-up, and we know there's loads of problems in camp, and they just got thumped by Ukraine, and they look like they're there for the taking, to be honest. But overall, I think it's a big test of... there's no trainer. Ireland doesn't have a coach or a trainer for this international window because they lost John Eustace and didn't replace them. So it's a real test of Keith Andrews' and Stephen Kenny's actual coaching. And I think we're going to see a hybrid 3-4-2-1, 3-5-2, kind of a cross of it. And wherever Knight finds the space, that's how the formation will settle, I think. That's what it looks like from the team selection.
It's all set up for 20 years' time, the Armenian reunion. They go, that night in Dublin, we just cast the manager to one side and we managed the team ourselves and pulled off one of our greatest ever results.
They'll be replaying your pre-match comments there, Gav, on Armenian radio in 20 years' time.
Oh, yeah, by all means. Mr. Poor, their Spanish coach is on the way out, though. He's already admitted it this week. I don't think we should... I think we're going to wipe them out here. These lads I was watching the highlights of the Ukraine game, and they're just not at the races. That was a freak result in Yerevan in June, and it still looks awful. And in 20 years' time, it'll look awful on Ireland and Kenny. And it could be the result that catches them if there's any more slip-ups, because that was the get-out-of-jail card. It's done now. Ireland, we know, are a reactionary team. They perform well after bad results. Not that Hampden was bad. First half was very good, and then I think they got outclassed in the second half by Premier League midfielders. I think that's what it looked like when I was live at the game, and that's what it really looked like on replay. McTominay and McGinn, it was just their movement and their influence, and there's going to be none of that tonight. Big game for the 2 young lads up front, Obafemi and Parrott. I'm delighted that they're getting another go, especially Troy Parrott, because it's a real sticker. It's a real tricky Preston team this season, and the pressure's been mounting on him by fans and the club since game 3. Like, even him, he's been answering questions about, I know I'll score. There's 3 games in, and he's 10 games in and hasn't got a goal. Not that many people at the club have got a goal either. And we know he's quality. We know he's ours for the future. He's one of the most naturally talented players we've had up front since Robbie Keane. I'm not saying he's Robbie Keane, but he is a brilliant young player, and he missed an awful sitter in Glasgow.
Well, we do expect so much of him when you see that statistic.
We expect of him tonight as well.
Only Robbie Keane and David Connolly have scored more goals before the age of 21 than Troy Parrott. Now, he's only got 4, but you forget, because we've been talking about him for 3 years, that he's nowhere near the finished article as of yet. And you just hope that a miss like that doesn't haunt him for more than whatever the remainder of the game was on Saturday, and doesn't carry over till tonight.
There's one very easy way to put it to bed this evening, I suppose.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. It's great that Stephen Kenny in particular hasn't said to Troy Parrott, sit this one out, because Ogbene certainly has a case, but it could be a very damaging thing if Troy Parrott was to go home to Preston and stew on that for several weeks and months.
Yeah, he's not ready for the Premier League, but Spurs haven't given up on him, but I think the last couple of weeks, the last couple of months this season, they might have realised that he could be 23, 24 before he comes up at that level, so it's vital that he plays a lot of football, and I think he's going to get better exposure for Ireland than he is for Preston, and we know he's going to score goals. He hasn't nailed it in a massive competitive game yet, so that's the one he can tick off tonight. His face, his reaction to that miss in Hampden Park told it all. It said everything. This guy, he didn't... it wasn't fear, you know. It wasn't. He tried a cheeky finish. He tried to do the eyes on the keeper. He's bundles of confidence. He's limitless confidence from my perspective. And I think Obafemi will sort him out and will set him up tonight.
You noted in your piece today in the Irish Times that Kenny passed on the chance to engage in a debate about his standing as Irish manager, and then couldn't help but have the several statistics to hand, which he so often does when he's defending himself. And it does seem even an innocuous question on a pre-match TV interview about, well, you must be looking forward to tonight, does turn into a, well, we have a connection with the fans and things are going well kind of a defence. And I don't know about the wisdom of constantly indulging in that, but he does invariably come back to that defensive point quite a bit. You would have seen that almost day in, day out at press conferences.
It's painful because the media in Ireland, as you might have noticed, has a lot of respect and a lot of time for Stephen Kenny, almost to a man. There's a couple of outliers, obviously, as there should be.
To the point, by the way, where we get texts in complaining about the media giving him a free ride. So he really does, you know, it's a very amenable press room.
It's been a fascinating thing to watch in the last year, Joe. But he needs to stop reading the media. He needs to stop listening to us. He needs to get the hell away from it and just have a pre-planned press conference, because he's such an interesting man. I think it was in Baku he sat down with about 5 or 6 of us for a half an hour, 40 minutes. Press officer was trying to interrupt him and he goes, no, I want to talk here. And it was brilliant, and he wasn't trying to defend himself. And he's given the spiel. At the moment, the way it reads is he's trying to build a team for Euro 28, you know. He's not going to be in the job in 6 years. All that matters now, right, I swear to God, even a bad result tonight, and the world will move on. That matters.
You think so too?
Look, I don't think there's going to be one. Yeah, of course, it would be a disaster, a draw even, right? But I think all that matters is the first 2 games in March, the first 2 European qualifiers. That's why the Frankfurt draw on October 9th is so important. And it'll be completely shaped up. We'll know who we get. It could be like a Holland and an England or something like that. It could be horrible, but it could be Denmark. It could be nice. But no matter what it is, they have to bank 4 points in those first 2 games in March. Otherwise, I can't see him lasting the campaign.
Okay. So the 11 defeats in 27 games statistic is bandied around. That seems dreadfully unfair, because what happened in COVID is just ancient history. However, in 5 Nations League games, we are talking about 3 defeats, and that's a very real and present statistic. Do you feel like the team are still very much progressing?
Yeah, they are, but I'd say to themselves, they're like all playing regular football in the Championship or Premier League for Bazunu and Collins. I'd say now in their own brains, they're like, we need to stop with that narrative about us progressing and everything. We are top level players. We're playing regularly. He's brought in a system now where you have to play regularly unless your name is Matt Doherty, and you will play regularly for this team or you don't get in it. And they have to perform. So yeah, granted, they are 20, 21, 22, and they will be a really good team, whoever's the manager, when they're 24, 25. I've no doubt about that. But if we don't qualify for Euro 24, the FAI are going to be in so much debt that it's going to be very hard to get a manager, or even to go with the systems that Kenny's putting in place. There's a lot on line in those first 2 games. There's so much on the line. Not so much tonight, but there's so much on the line in that draw in Frankfurt next month. It's massive.
Yeah, it's funny, the boomer bust cycle that we talk about, and the importance of Ireland always focusing on the next campaign, and it didn't matter what style of football was, because financially the FAI needed it. Ironically, since John Delaney's gone, they need it more than ever now, at a time when Stephen Kenny has essentially sacrificed, if you're being kind to him, sacrificed the campaign to blood these new players, at a time when, again, they will line out tonight with no shirt sponsor, when the debt is still there. Nothing has changed for the FAI, despite all the positivity around, the current crop. The under-21s currently in action at the moment. They need to get to major tournaments.
Yeah, so they promised us 44,000 people will cram in here in half an hour, right? This nightmare horrible music is probably ruining everyone leaving their pints at the moment. But anyway, we can moan about that, but it's shocking, this preamble music. But if they don't we'll see tonight if the season ticket holders show up. It's a big thing. Now, we know this. We know that he's got the backing of the board, almost to a man and woman. We know he's got the backing of the lads behind the old South Terrace. So he has all the goodwill in the world, but you're right, 63.5 million is not going to go away unless they start packing this stadium, and they will not pack it in Division C. They'll pack it when Holland comes in November. But it's just crucial that they they get a bit of a rhythm, I suppose, so that March actually does hit going, because there is no consistency, Joe.
No.
I just don't see it.
Yes, that's the big issue at the moment. I'm not sure the wisdom of bigging up the 44,000 attendance in advance, because it was never going to hit 44,000. There are drop-offs in those numbers, so
no need to say it either, Joe.
No,
after the match, absolutely no need.
So, are we any closer to a sponsor for our national team? Men's national team.
We were talking to Jonathan Hill at the AGM, which was a month or two ago, and he was like, we are very close. Very close, and nothing has happened since.
Yeah, is that one of those? We're getting a lot of offers, so people who want to get in quick while they can.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the world economy at the moment, what's happening in the world. I just don't think it's there. And
there's a lot of links with one of the big tech companies that are based in Dublin that they may well have been interested, but obviously they've held out for so long. If you think the economics of should we have taken a lesser amount 2 years ago, would it have made up the difference? Quite possibly, but it does feel that the reason they don't have a sponsor isn't down to the performance of the players. It is the legacy of what has gone on at boardroom level.
Well, and this is on Jonathan Hill, the CEO. He was brought in as an expert to do this, and look, he streamlined the association. There's a more of a corporate feel to the place now. There's been a huge amount of hires, a lot of them from English backgrounds, which is not a bad thing because they're coming from really good CVs. But he needs to deliver on a shirt sponsor. Otherwise, his next contract mightn't be with us, and it mightn't be what he hopes it will be.
We do crack jokes about this every time we're here, and it's not a priority, like let's sort out the debt and let's sort out the football. But when we've done with that, we do really need to talk about what is the atmosphere they're trying to create here right now. Like, why are we blasting fans with this?
The music. It's painful. So I've been to this football gig. You travel all over the world, all over Europe, and you don't get this anywhere. It's painful.
Well, we were in Hampden Park on Saturday night with one of the best atmospheres I've experienced at a football match. From half an hour beforehand, the place was packed. They were playing a little bit of music, but they were all proper football anthems that almost the Scottish and Irish fans were singing together.
People knew what was coming as well. They knew what songs were coming, so they were coming into their seats to be there for those songs.
And we're doing the Manchester Derby next Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
We will do an hour pre-build-up without any of this sort of thing in the background.
Look behind us. Nobody is talking to each other because it's too loud. It's like a bad nightclub.
It's a basic thing. I know people
will say
in a
bad nightclub with Nathan Murphy.
It's the media moaning, but I honestly do believe people are staying out of the stadium, as you said, as long as they possibly can, because it's just too bloody loud.
Yeah. They have to have seen in fairness to the FAI at the moment, they seem to be learning lessons, and they were just in Hampden Park. Hopefully they'll scribble it down, and by the time Haaland comes, we don't scare him off with this kind of these tunes. Shocking 80s dance music.
Before you go, Gavin Cummins, the Irish Times, give us what's going to happen tonight then in your view. What's the most likely outcome here?
I hope we don't score too many goals in the first half, because you want to keep everyone for the second half. But just on pure logic and evidence, I think we're going to put up 4 easily. These guys are a rabble. They're not at the pace. They weren't even at the pace when they beat us 1-0 in Yerevan. They had so many opportunities because we were all the lads were on their way to Ibiza in their heads, and they had so much space, and they didn't make it up until that Russian attacking midfielder who's back in tonight, Edward Sperzan, hit an absolute belter when he slipped inside Jeff Hendrick and beat Kelleher. I'm not sure if that would have beaten Bazunu. Different team. They've had enough shots. They've been done by long rangers now, by Azerbaijan, by Armenia, by too many teams.
Luxembourg.
Yeah, I think Malumbi and Hendrick. I think Malumbi will sit and hold and mind Hendrick as much as, and which it'll be fascinating to see how the system develops, because again, as I said, they're not working off an English coach at the moment. I think that could be. I hope that's not a problem.
Gavin Cummins, the Irish Times. Thanks very much.
Thanks, lads.
We got the cash machine.
Your chance to win big. News Talk's cash machine.
They have to put on a good one.
Well, we've now had 3 no answers in a row on the cash machine, which means there is a big amount to play for tonight. It's a rollover, so if you've entered since Thursday, you're still in to win. But the new number is €71,287.68. So text play to 57557. Entry in by 3 o'clock tomorrow. And then across the Go Loud network of stations, Barry Dunn will make the call. If your phone rings, answer within 5 rings, and the exact amount in euro and cents, please. So the new amount is €71,287.68. Over 18s only. Text costs €2.50, and you're playing across the Go Loud network of stations. Terms and conditions are on newstalk.com. Short break. More from the Aviva next.
Off the ball on News Talk.
Escape the autumn hustle and bustle with GoBreaks.ie. Get an extra €5 off in over 350 hotels nationwide. With GoBreaks, you can save up to 25% and breakfast is always free. Whether it's a weekend with your bestie or a romantic getaway, get an extra €5 off when you book by October 3rd. Go experience, go explore with GoBreaks, as recommended by News Talk.
Go Breaks.
T's and C's at GoBreaks.ie.
Where will Stena take you this autumn? From unparalleled customer care to cozying up for some you time. From exciting onboard entertainment to settling in for some peace and quiet. All via service that is just right. Take your car to Britain from only €139 or France from only €189, car and driver one way. Get away from the everyday with Stena and start your trip right. Book today at stenaline.ie.
Jude here from Elephant Self-Storage. Moving, renovating or need space for your home or work? Elephant Self-Storage will arrange your move and store your goods securely. Picture a 5-star hotel with 800 own key storerooms. Come and go as you wish. Stay as long as you like. Free collection and free boxes when you book online. Search Elephant Storage or phone 494 0000. That's 494 0000. Elephant Storage, the hotel for your goods. Terms and conditions apply.
Presidio is a leading global digital services and solution provider differentiated by our people. We have 300 Irish-based employees, highly experienced in the provision of cloud, cybersecurity, networking, collaboration and IT infrastructure solutions. We will guide you from initial assessment, strategy and consulting to implementation and deployment to manage services that run IT for you. Let Presidio accelerate your business outcomes, no matter what your industry. Visit presidio.com/Europe.
The way we work has changed. Businesses are being challenged to adapt much faster, embracing new ways of working, navigating a low-carbon economy, anticipating new risks and regulations, and taking advantage of new opportunities. At SIA Partners Ireland, we partner with our customers to manage and lead that change, delivering AI-powered business consulting services here in Ireland and from 40 offices globally. For transformational expertise and a team that's invested in your success, contact us at sia-partners.ie. SIA Partners. Design, reshape, reboot.
Is your car, van or house insurance due for renewal? Don't renew until you call Innovu. We work harder to get the best insurance for you. Call Innovu Insurance for a quote today on 0818 222 400. Innovu Insurance, trading as Innovu Insurance Polski Quote, is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland. T's and C's apply.
Introducing the original influencer on a platform so effective it has over 3.7 million followers. No need to post selfies, avocados or dog videos to get lots of likes, because this device speaks to over 90% of the nation every week. Say hello to a technology that sends DMs straight to the brain. Welcome to radio. Advertising that's always a direct message. Visit radiocenterireland.ie to see what radio can do for your product or brand.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch Premier League, Women's Super League, EFL, Scottish Premiership and much more. Live on Sky Sports.
I'm angry, Tony, I have to be honest. Your behaviour was despicable. We've been robbed during the season. These fans, this football club, have been robbed blind. I'm sorry, Tony, but I'm angry as well. I was angry before the game. I've been angry for a long time. Your behaviour was despicable.
Are you angry now?
My ears are bleeding, Joe. My ears are bleeding.
Stuart Byrne howled an expletive into the air when he heard that promo. Come on.
They were the days, Joe. You could just say things and you pretty much get away with it. But no, not as angry anymore. I hate the way you need to give me a heads up every time you play that, because I
don't get angry. What do you want a heads up for? We're still going to play it either way.
I can take these headphones off. Although if I took my headphones off now, my ears probably would bleed.
Give us your take on Hampden.
I thought we were very good, I have to say. Enjoyed the game. It was a real derby game to it. Sat down on the couch, just kind of watched it as a fan. And I couldn't really fault much in the game, to be quite honest. A really, really good first half. Got the goal, and I thought we were certainly the better side. And then for some reason, I imagine obviously Scotland upped their game in the second half, and I think the pressure was on them to really get a result out of it. When you consider what happened here in the 3-0 defeat. So a bit of pressure on Scotland, and to be fair to them, they stood up and they certainly put us under pressure. But when you consider the opportunities that we created in that second half, I mean, they're really, really good opportunities. The obvious one is Parrott's chance, but there's not much I could really fault them. I just came away from it thinking, do you know what, we're still in a good place, and I know the noise seems to be that we need to start winning games, but Scotland away on another night probably would have finished 1-1. We could have even have won the game, and if you take that into context of the previous 10 games, or let's say have a look at the calendar year, I think we're in a good place. But I do think, Joe, now is the time that it needs to go up another gear. Nathan made a very good point, which I had actually forgotten about. A lot of the games have been played behind closed doors, and therefore there hasn't been a sense of that pressure from the crowd. So Stephen has been able to kind of maybe experiment a little bit, maybe get away with a few things when you consider some of the poor results that we've had here. But you certainly do feel that with the crowds coming back into games, there's going to be that added pressure on us, and we have struggled when we have been the team to expected to go and dominate the game at home. It's Armenia, no excuses. They're the games where I think we tend to come up a little bit short. So I expect us to really grab this game with a scuff of the neck, and I'd be quite surprised if we don't get at least 3 goals.
As March 2023 really comes into focus now, and the Euros campaign, which is ultimately where Stephen Kenny was always going to be really judged, do you feel he's pretty much at his best 11 now? He knows what his best 11 is, he knows what his best system is, because we did see a big change in formation midway through the June window, and he's stuck with that since.
Yeah, I mean, he'd want to know, wouldn't he, to be quite honest with you? Yeah. And I do think that issue of reverting from a front 3 to a 2, it was the Jason Knight, wasn't it, dropping him into midfield, and it seemed to be this revelation, but it was it was quite a simple change, and it made all the difference. So I think that's definitely our best position. I quite like the way we play the 3-5. I think it really, really suits us. I think especially with the 3 at the back, I just feel we always look comfortable. And we have, in Matt Doherty, who isn't, defensively the best at the moment, but he, certainly offers an awful lot going forward. And to be quite honest, to give James McLean his due, I thought he was quite good the other night as well. I think his quality of crossing had that I would have always had a gripe with James with regards his crossing. I thought it was excellent against Scotland. And I'm really interested to see how Robbie Brady is tonight, because we would feel that Robbie probably thought this was gone. He probably thought this was never going to happen again. And for him, I'd love to just see him grab it by the scruff of the neck. I think if we, a 90% Robbie Brady is a hell of a player to have in your locker, and I think this is a hell of an opportunity for him, because that position's up for grabs, Joe.
Number 17, Jason Knight.
When we've had these recent games where Ireland haven't got over the line, and you would have played in teams that had this knack of winning sometimes, why is it, do you think, Ireland are just coming out the wrong side of some of these games, the likes of the Scottish game?
Yeah,
it's hard to put your finger on it.
It's do you know what, it can be a few things, Joe. It can be a little bit of pressure. Are the players really feeling the pressure? I think Stephen's a very good manager at taking pressure off players. I don't know if you've noticed, well, you obviously have noticed, you're very good at your job, but the talk is always about Stephen. It's a bit like Mourinho at Chelsea. He has this way of attracting attention away from the players, and I think he's done that really well over the last year. And almost what else has worked for him is that he has been able to articulate this as being a project. In other words, we're trying to get blood players, young players, bring them through, and people have bought into that. Now, he's been helped by the fact that the previous regime was an absolute shambles. Okay, So there was a mistrust in the old regime, and therefore there now seems to be a kind of trust in this current term.
Yeah.
But it does now come down to results, and we need to be making progress every game. Every game we play as we go forward, people genuinely need to see something happen, otherwise it'll turn quite quickly.
In fairness to you, you've just made a point I hadn't heard anyone make, and it's such a player's point of view, and probably such a smart point, that for all the last 18 months, which is around this team, been very much focused on Stephen Kenny. I guess you've just pointed out a real upside, which is the players must feel like the lack of scrutiny in comparison with previous years must be a joy.
Absolutely. No, I heard no commentary saying that player has improved so much, he's doing this, he's doing that, or whatever the case may be.
There's bits, we talk about them,
but
exactly. It's not the headline discussion
True.
point.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, that's what he's good at, to be fair to him.
You think he's courted that?
I think that's what he does, and whether or not, I don't think he's coming with this brief, or whether he came in with this sort of attitude that I'm going to try and take the pressure out of it. I think that's just the way he naturally is, but for some reason the media, the supporters, they just seem to have latched onto him, and I think he's gone with it really well. I think that's what he's done. I think he's reacted really well to the fact that, this is working, I'm going to keep doing this, I'm going to stay an extra 10 minutes in the press conference, I'm going to be Mr. Nice Guy, I'm not going to be like Martin on it. Martin had a terrible reputation for being quite rude, to be quite honest with you, and it goes to show, being a nice guy can go a long way, but it's not going to get you all the way.
No, it's not. And I suppose, in fairness to him, with the brand of football he's trying to play, a lot of the time, right from the first couple of games, there were individual mistakes which undercut the type of football he was trying to play. Mistakes in playing out from the back, right through up to and including Matt Doherty's defending or Troy Parrott-Smith. He has never once, in fairness to him, said, I don't have the players, or I don't have a Robbie Keane. He's never done that, and that's to his credit as well. And these are all the reasons why so many people hope this thing comes together now, and we're at the point where we're about to find out if this is going to come together.
Yeah, exactly. I do agree, and again, it's part of his man management that he will give you rope, that kind of way. He'll allow you to make mistakes, and that's what has happened. Players have made mistakes, we've missed really good chances, but now you might argue it's slightly turning Troy Parrott's opportunity the other day. A lot of focus on that now, and it has to turn at some point. And I'll go back to what I just said a few minutes ago. If being a nice guy gets you so far, but there comes a point where you need to be a little bit more ruthless to get you over the line.
The consensus tonight is 3 or 4-0.
I'd be surprised if we don't get 3 tonight. Yeah, that's how I feel. But I don't think we'll hammer them, Joe, to be quite honest with you. And it could take us the 90 minutes to get to 3, but I really think this is a game that's there for the taking. You think back to the game in Armenia. Harry Yan, the skipper on the night, had a world, didn't he? And I think we were a little bit. We just didn't play well. We looked quite flat, being the end of the season, a little bit leggy. First half was a washout, but I think, Nathan Collins, Egan, when you look at the players, Obafemi, Parrott, there's big improvements there. They've all come through. I have a lot of affection for Josh Cullen. I think he's the kind of player that we could struggle without, but I'd like to see Hendrick kind of step in there and do that role.
Okay, Stewie, thanks for the time being. Should let you know this evening, all across the week as well, we are giving away an incredible trip to LA for an NFL game. So you and 2 friends could be jetting off with the multi-award winning Cassidy Travel on direct Aer Lingus flights from Dublin the 1st of December. You'll spend 4 nights in the Wayfarer, a 4-star hotel in downtown Los Angeles, and you'll take in LA Rams, Seattle Seahawks in the brand new SoFi Stadium. To be in with the chance, all you have to do is follow @CassidyTravel on Twitter and retweet our competition post as well. All thanks to Cassidy Travel, your one-stop sports travel shop, and you can check out CassidyTravel.ie for more. So we're here at the Aviva Stadium. There certainly won't be 44,000, but the crowd has certainly picked up in the last 15 minutes, as tends to be the case. We have live commentary on the way next.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, get all the football you love in one place across Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports.
News Talk Breakfast.
What is drawing us to these true crimes?
There is an evolutionary need to learn about predators, to understand how danger works, so therefore we recognise it better. But I think a more likely reason is that we're a bit obsessed with the darker side of humanity.
News Talk Breakfast with Ciara Kelly and Shane Coleman.
In association with AIR.
Weekday mornings at 7 on News Talk.
Here's something you don't care about. Tyres. Just black rubber. You just don't dream about the perfect percentage of silica, do you? Nor want to discover details of pattern designs. And you're probably not passionate about how tyres are tested millions of miles. And that's okay, because we care, so that you can rely on us when others rely on you. Continental.
Real adventure is waiting for you this autumn in Leitrim. Discover stunning forest trails, cycle or stand-up paddle along the breathtaking Shannon Erne waterways. It's waiting to be explored, experienced and enjoyed. For special offers, visit enjoyleitrim.com.
Guaranteed Irish business members continue to sustain jobs and communities across Ireland.
That's why here at LIA we're dedicated to continuously driving higher standards in financial services education. As the Centre of Excellence for the Education and Development of Finance Professionals, our vision is that consumers can achieve financial freedom based on quality advice from their financial advisor. If you'd like to join our community and forge a new career in finance, we're now accepting registrations for our 2023 exams. Find out more at lia.ie. So look out for the G, guaranteedirish.ie. Altogether better.
With a smart meter, you can take full control of your home's electricity usage. But here's the important bit. Only if you sign up to an Electric Ireland smart meter plan. Our personalised usage insights will help you make the most of your electricity. So if you'd like to find out the perfect time to put on a wash, or see how your bill's looking on any day of the month, search Electric Ireland smart meter plans and find out the best plan for your home. Smart meter required. T's and C's apply. You want financing to grow your business? You want to borrow, not beg. You want financing fast. Is that too much to ask? Not if you ask us. We're Linked Finance. Just simple, fast business loans with a decision in 24 hours. Go to linkedfinance.com to apply online today. Linked Finance. What business wants.
A healthy immune system is the key to your good health. Take a safe and simple step to protect yourself with Alflorex Immune. Alflorex Immune from Precision Biotics combines a single-strain bacterial culture with extra-strength vitamin D to support your immune system. Ask your pharmacist for more information or at your nearest health food store. Protect yourself with Alflorex Immune.
There is a technology that can deliver a brand message so instantaneously. There is a technology that can deliver a brand message so instantaneously, so brilliantly, it automatically syncs with your ears. No waiting, no buffering, and definitely no dropping out. Welcome to radio. Advertising that's always a direct message. Visit radiocenterireland.ie to see what radio can do for your product or brand.
Wild Lights, the spectacular nighttime experience at Dublin Zoo, is back with an exciting new theme, The Magic of Life. Experience over 1,000 dazzling lanterns shining a light on biodiversity. Travel through luminous woodlands to see amazing wildlife, discover the diversity of life in our rainforests, and dive underwater to witness beautiful sea creatures, all lit up through giant colourful silk lanterns. Wild Lights, from October 28th to January 9th. Tickets on sale now at dublinzoo.ie.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch Premier League, Women's Super League, EFL, Scottish Premiership and much more. Live on Sky Sports.
You're welcome back. We have had the anthems here at the Aviva Stadium. Pre-match pleasantries almost concluded. And we seem to say this a lot under Stephen Kenny, but it's quite an important night for him. Your commentary team are ready to go. Stuart Byrne and Nathan Murphy.
Yeah, thank you very much, Joe. The two teams are gathering in their respective huddles down below us for this Nations League clash. A year ago, Stephen Kenny said that the Republic of Ireland intended to win their Nations League group. Well, he certainly didn't end up to end on the final night of the campaign in a relegation playoff against Armenia, but that is exactly what has happened this evening. And if Ireland were to lose this game, they would find themselves down in League C. But after their last home performance here, that 3-0 victory against Scotland. The hope is that the progress that is being made by this young group of players will continue tonight and they can score a decisive victory. Armenia, since that shock 1-0 win in Yerevan in the opening night of the campaign, they've lost all 4 matches since. They've conceded 14 goals. They're very much in crisis, and they are going to get us underway in what is a clear night in Dublin, a bitterly cold night. Winter is very much coming, and Armenia, all in red, will play from left to right as we look at it from our commentary position. Gavin Bazunu has that hardcore group of Irish supporters behind his goal. The match referee, Rade Obrenovac, leading an all-Slovenian set of officials, and Armenia get us underway yet again, playing with a 3-5-2 formation. It'll end up in 5 at the back more often than not, and the Republic of Ireland, of course, now also going with 3 at the back. It is Gavin Bazunu in goals, Collins on the right of the back three, O'Shea on the left, and John Egan, who yet again captains the Republic of Ireland tonight, starts in the middle. It's Matt Doherty on the right hand side. Robbie Brady comes back into the team for the first time in almost 2 years on the left in place of James McLean. Jeff Hendrick replaces the suspended Josh Cullen in midfield alongside Jason Malumbi and Jason Knight, and Troy Parrott and Michael Obafemi continue up front. Ireland, as always at home, green jerseys, white shorts and green socks, and the ball to the feet of the man who scored at Hampden Park on Saturday night, John Egan, and it's rolled to this left hand side. Stuart Byrne is alongside me in co-commentary. As always, if you're listening in around the world, do send us a message. Add Off the Ball on Twitter, we'll give you a shout out. And good early possession from Ireland, and a nice little spin from Michael Obafemi, who of course scored that wonder goal in Ireland's last home game, the 3-0 win against Scotland. Nice intricate passing. Armenia got an important foot in there, but Ireland managed to win back the second ball, and it comes to this near side. And Robbie Brady, who has had many big moments in the green jersey of Ireland through the years, but he's been so badly hampered by injury over the past 4 or 5 seasons. Brilliant for him personally to force his way back into the side tonight. Obafemi's touch back is to Malumbi, and it's spread out to the left hand side then to Brady. He knocks a little ball back then to Knight, and Knight goes all the way back to O'Shea, and now it's Nathan Collins. Over to the right hand side it goes, and the long flowing locks of Jeff Hendrick. And Ireland with plenty of early possession in the early stages of this game. Stewie looking at that Irish midfield, so it's Jason Malumbi who slotted into the Josh Cullen role at the base of it, Hendrick just to the right and Knight just to the left.
Yeah, it's the one thing I've been looking at just for the first couple of minutes. Ball's been like a magnet to Jason Malumbi. He's been the deeper one, you know, instead of playing maybe with a 2 and 1 up top, like a triangle, maybe an inverted triangle. Malumbi's going to be on his own. Big role for him, you know, because he's
appeals for a handball there. Referee allows play to continue. Falls for Obafemi on the edge of the area. 4 Armenians around him. Back he goes to Malumbi. Quickly out to the right hand side to Doherty. Cuts in onto his left foot. Heavy touch from Doherty. Runs straight into trouble. But Armenia simply cannot clear their lines right now. They haven't had a touch of the ball in the opening 2.5 minutes inside the Irish half. And Ireland very much on the front foot early on. Doherty again. You could hear a few groans there from an Irish supporter who haven't quite forgiven him for his lax defending against Scotland. And it comes to Brady again. Ball in along the ground to a very lively looking Michael Obafemi, who's buzzing around up top, picking up lots of different spots. And Hendrick drifts out to the right hand side, lays it off to Doherty, who's hugging that right hand touchline. Decent crowd in, not sure there's full 44,000, but certainly heading towards 40,000 on this Tuesday night. And Ireland again stroking it around comfortably. Malumbi tries to dink one over the top towards Parrott, headed clear by Harian, the Armenian captain. Darragh O'Shea strong in the tackle, and Malumbi picks it up again, and Nathan Collins, when he gets it, the Irish supporters will be urging him forward. He's so comfortable with the ball at his feet. Out to the right hand side, gets the ball back from Doherty. The cross from Collins comes off Calisir, the left back of Armenia, and out of play for a throw in. But exactly the sort of start Stephen Kenny would have wanted. Ireland totally dominant.
He's probably going to have to do a lot more of that as well in the game. Nathan Collins surging forward, and we've seen him do so well, and especially in the Ukrainian game. But you know, you have a look at how Armenia have set up. They've effectively just bunched into it, maybe a strip of maybe no wider than 30 yards, so it's very, very tight in that middle of the pitch. I mean, there's a lot of A lot of onus probably on Malumbi maybe to try and get himself some freedom. He started the game really, really well. It was kind of come back to the point that I think he's going to have a big game. Not just the fact that he's filling in for Josh Cullen, but that, you know, he tends to be an all-action player, Malumbi, and sometimes he wants to get involved in things. And tonight is the night where we really need him to be that pivot, sit in there, link up play like he's doing now. He's getting time on the ball. We know we can pass the ball, and you know, get us going on the front foot.
Knight of Derby County, former Cavantilli man, driving forward, lays it off to another dub, Robbie Brady, who sends it in very, very deep. Doherty's coming in at the back post, but there's a little flicked header there by the Armenian fullback Calisteran. Out of play goals for another throw-in to Ireland. In line with the edge of the penalty area, over on the right wing, as they attack down to our left-hand side. Hendrick's seen plenty of involvement as well. I'd imagine there's barely been a 5-minute spell that the Republic of Ireland have had so much possession against any team. Armenia cannot make it stick at the moment, and Ireland playing it at their own pace. We've seen Ireland start games brightly quite a bit under Stephen Kenny, and as we know what happens with Irish teams, they struggle to get that goal, and frustration creeps in. But the crossfield ball from Malumbi is perfect for Doherty. He hefts it on to Hendrick. Hendrick at the end line, pulls it back to the edge of the area to Nathan Collins, who hit it first time, and he just sort of floats a little pitching wedge over the top of the crossbar. Not sure what he was thinking, whether he was trying to smash it or to just try and side foot it, and in the end it was a little bit of nothing. It was the first shot in anger of this game. But again, Jason Malumbi looking very comfortable, albeit with all the time in the world in that holding role in midfield.
Yeah, well look, he's got off to a good start, Malumbi, because he's had so many touches on the ball in the first 5 minutes. You know, you can see he's grown into the game, and he's going to get that time and space. That pull back to Nathan Collins obviously got caught in 2 minds. Yeah, thought he should have pulled the trigger, but the big man not too used to being up at the edge of the opposition's box. But big key thing I'm starting to see already, Nathan, and I think it was something that we were at fault in the away game. You know, Armenia sits so deep, and there's a temptation for our back three to kind of squeeze and move up high, and almost for the likes of Egan or O'Shea or Nathan Collins, they'll be on the ball quite a lot. And I think they need to kind of maybe not move forward so quick, maybe be a little bit deeper and allow Malumbi to do that.
Give it away to Obafemi, 30 yards from goal. The run in front of him is made by Parrott, an important sliding challenge. Hendrick comes onto it, another challenge from Harayan, threw himself to the ground. We saw a lot of that over in Yerevan. He was an all-action style of player, Barras that Harayan, and he put in a couple of risky tackles, but both times he managed to win the ball, and Armenia get away with their slack play. And then there's a free kick given away by Robbie Brady for a late challenge on their number 10, Zelarayan.
Just keen to get there, wasn't he, Brady?
On Saturday night for a rash challenge. So a free kick to Armenia, and with 7 minutes gone, it's still scoreless between the Republic of Ireland and Armenia on off the ball on this Tuesday night. And the first chance maybe for Armenia to just settle things down a little bit. They've given it away again, and the interception is made by the Waterford man Malumbi. Out to Brady, dinks one forward down the left wing for Knight. Knight holds on to it, closed down quickly by the Armenian player, and there was good strong defending back there by Hambard Zumian, and he plays it off Jason Knight, and a throw in to the visitors. We've had a debate around the three at the back four, which by and large has done a very good job for Ireland. It is just in games like this where you do wonder if they need 3 centre halves.
I think it suits us, Nathan, to be quite honest. I just think it suits the shape. We obviously want to play with 2 high fullbacks, Brady and Matt Doherty, and I think it's just a natural thing. I think when you know, especially when you have the likes of Nathan Collins is there as well, I think that just gives you the back two, Egan and O'Shea, that extra bit of a surety that you've got pace and good cover there.
Jason Knight tries a little step over right under the nose of his manager, doesn't come off, but the throw-ins for Ireland, and now right in the centre of the pitch is Jeff Hendrick, quickly along the ground to Doherty. Message in from Darren Webster pointing out that there's a lot of dubs in the team tonight. He makes it 8 of them. I think a couple of them might dispute whether they're dubs.
Don't start that argument.
Nathan Collins a dub? I don't think Nathan Collins is a dub.
We'll have a quiz at half time to name the dubs, will we?
Here's one of them, Matt Doherty. And rolls it back to a man who has his own disputes as to where he's from. John Egan, the Cork man of Kerry heritage. And now Collins steps forward. Of course, going to have a bit of a break after this, Nathan Collins. He's suspended for 3 matches when he returns to Wolves after that red card for the karate kick in Jack Grealish. The ball in now to Malumbi. It's opened up for Malumbi. Round 1 challenge. Goes down on the edge of the area. Referee tells them to get up. Irish supporters aren't happy. Malumbi stays down. Ireland win back possession again, and now Brady with the step over down the left-hand side. There's 3 players waiting in the area. Looks to send a cross in. Does he win the corner kick? No. Brilliant defending by Conrad Sumyan. Thought it was going to spit out a play for the corner, and then they play it off Brady down their right-hand side, Armenia. But there's been an all-action opening 10 minutes from Jason Malumbi, and he drove forward that time. Skipped past the initial challenge. It was a bad tackle as well. He was called at the back of his foot, and then he was called a second time.
The first one, Nathan, he should have got it for, to be fair. I mean, the referee's had a really good look at it. He's definitely fouled in the first challenge. He's lost his balance, and you'd argue that the second challenge isn't a free kick, but the referee's got to pull it back for the first one. But he's let him know, Malumbi's let the referee know in uncertain terms he's not happy with it. But, you know, again, he started the game so well. I wouldn't like to see him get too ruffled about it. That's, you know, it's been his temperament is a part of his game that he's had to work on, but he's like I say, the ball's been like a magnet to him so far the first 10 minutes.
Haven't seen much of Troy Parrott in the game so far as it comes to Brady again out on the Irish left. He steps inside and slows it down a little bit, rolls it back to Darragh O'Shea. Still scoreless between Israel and the Republic of Ireland in their under-21 European Championship playoff. There's 10 minutes left in that one, 1-1 in aggregate. Away goals don't count, so that one could well be heading to extra time as the ball's floated into Obafemi, and backpedaling, he flicks his header to the right and wide, and I think, was he onside?
The flag hasn't gone up.
It was a lovely ball, and it just fell to the wrong man. He needed a couple more inches, Michael Obafemi.
Yeah, it's good. Look, no, he looks like he's on. They might have had a look at it.
Right online, they would have had a look at it, I'd say, but he just couldn't lift himself from the cross from Jason Knight. You say he was going backwards, and it just flashed off his forehead and went to the right and wide. First chance of the game for Michael Obafemi.
That's good to leave it with Jason Knight, isn't it? You know, a couple of step overs, making himself that little yard. I think he spotted Obafemi, put it into a really good area, and it's one of them where you just kind of need to kind of guide the ball into that far corner. Just got too much on it.
Jordy Monroy knocks it back, and now it's Kaurir Nkoyan, 36-year-old. A lot of players in their 30s in this experienced Armenian side. Haven't won away in their last 9 matches. So beaten at home as well, 5-0 by what was essentially a second-string Ukrainian side on Saturday. Ukraine playing Scotland tonight for the right to win this group in the Nations League. That one's still scoreless. And Matt Doherty into Malumbi, and this is the sort of time of the game where you start to need that goal for your early dominance. 12 minutes gone. Ireland have had all of the possession so far. 1 half chance for Michael Obafemi. Malumbi, who's been excellent so far, on again to Hendrick. Won't have too many defensive responsibilities tonight, Jeff Hendrick. One of the players to be sacrificed after the 1-0 home defeat against Ukraine. He'd been pretty much an ever-present in all the big games under Stephen Kenny, but dropped for Malumbi, and tonight just getting his place back due to the suspension of Josh Cullen. O'Shea steps forward into the Armenian half. Again, Malumbi is the pivot in midfield. Hendrick has 3 green jerseys in front of him, goes back to Collins, quickly out then to Doherty with the outside of his boot, plays it into Hendrick. He goes backwards though, and Matt Doherty involved again. Certainly looked on Saturday night, even though he made the mistake and missed a good chance. Matt Doherty has that touch of class of a real Premier League player. Hopefully little interchanges to play out on the right hand side, and we're seeing that already as Ireland continue to hold on possession. Do they have that player in midfield who can find a cutting pass? Maybe they can get something out of Troy Parrott though. Weaves his way through a couple of challenges. Angle was tight. Armenia crowding the defence, but Ireland managed to win themselves the corner kick. First time we've seen Troy Parrott get involved, and he makes an impact.
Yeah, thumbs up as well, you know, and that's what we need, Nathan. There are times in this game where we're going to need somebody to thread a pass through, take a chance, you know, see if you can find the likes of Parrott, Obafemi. Parrott on that occasion found himself a little bit of space, and you can see once he gets into that, you know, that 20-yard area, he's turning, he's going at goal, he's making things happen, and we've won a corner.
And that corner will be taken by Robbie Brady. Knight has come short, but I think Brady wants to take the opportunity back in the side to whip one in. The 3 centre halves have all gone forward. There's a left foot of Robbie Brady, and outswinger. The header is one at the back post and flashes across the 6-yard box. And it just was John Egan at full stretch who couldn't turn it in. It was Darragh O'Shea at the back post who got great power at it, and it was almost too much power on that header from Darragh O'Shea. It was straight at John Egan, and he got his forehead on it, John Egan. He just couldn't react quickly enough to turn it towards goal.
Yeah, he's got a hell of a pace on the header. O'Shea back across goal, doesn't he? It's one of them where Egan kind of has to nearly almost adjust his neck on the spot, and he's done that really well. Just wasn't able to get enough contact on it. Has that knack, Egan, doesn't he, of picking up second balls in the box. Very like his goal against Scotland the weekend.
He'd love a goal at Lansdowne Road. Both his goals have come away from home so far, against Portugal and Scotland, and playing in the heart of that Irish defence tonight. And Gavin Bazunu, what I think might well be his first touch of the game with 15 minutes gone, as he just steps out of his own penalty area to get himself involved. The Southampton goalkeeper.
Have a look at the game now, Nathan. Just have a look at how narrow Armenia are, and it's so tight. You know, they've just blocked off the pass there. That's something that they're going to try and do the whole game. Just feel
Ireland don't really have the player who can play that crossfield ball, is the problem at the moment. Like Robbie Brady was in 20 yards of space. They just need someone who can ping that 40-50 yards from right to left and release him.
Yeah, I think Malumbi, to be fair to him, when he's had the time and space, you know, he does it. But you're right, I don't think we have that kind of player that does it off the cuff or on the turn, or has it in his head that he knows what's going on behind him, and it's touch, and it's a crossfield pass, and it's getting us moving forward. I think that's going to be key for us, that as this first half goes on, we're going to have to get one or two players that are going to try and tread passes through, take a little bit more risk with our passing. It's all a little bit safe at the moment and quite comfortable for Armenia.
Brady loses out in the challenge with Barseghian. Interception by Malumbi, pinged forward towards Obafemi, who just can't get on the end of that ball, and it's with the Armenian captain Haroye. So another Nations League campaign coming to an end. The third Nations League, and the Republic of Ireland still just one victory. A 3-0 win against Scotland. They're only winning 15 matches in the Nations League. The layoff from Parrott didn't have the quality needed to get back tonight, and as the ball is cleared forward, on quickly was Darragh O'Shea to step in ahead of the Armenian striker, head it back to Gavin Bazunu, and then he quickly releases Robbie Brady. You know, it's one of those you look at. Does Brady need to play it inside so quickly? He's got acres of space in front of him, but they go cross field, and Collins chips it forward down the right hand side for Doherty. Little nutmeg from Doherty into the area around another challenge. Still Matt Doherty pulls it back to Jason Knight, who just as he hits the shot is blocked by the Armenian defender, and it's deflected behind for a corner kick. Beautiful football down the right hand side. Collins releasing Doherty, managed to wiggle his way through two Armenian players, picked out the pass for the onrushing Knight, and as he tried to smash it towards goal, it was blocked by the Armenians, and the Republic of Ireland get another corner kick. Still scoreless at the Aviva Stadium, 17 minutes gone. This corner over at the far side in front of the small stand, and Brady's over there, left foot again, trying to whip this one in. An in-swinger this time. Collins, Egan, O'Shea all lurking around the penalty spot. Sent in, and John Egan goes up, and he's got that home goal. The Irish captain has done it again for the second game in a row. Ireland have got the goal that their early dominance deserved. Robbie Brady's corner kick, and John Egan smashes the header into the back of the net. Republic of Ireland 1, Armenia 0.
Like we said, even coming off the back of the chance he had just a couple of minutes ago, he just has that knack of getting himself into a situation to get goals. Straightforward corner, a really, really good delivery just outside the 6-yard box, and a bit more straightforward for Egan on this occasion. You would have to feel he's timed it really well, hasn't he? He's gotten a really good jump at it, not really contested, just put it in the corner. I think it might have been the fact that he's heading it down into the ground. It gets that bounce, just elude the goalkeeper. No one on the post, either front or back post for Armenia. It's a straightforward goal, but it's a hell of a header from Johnny Egan.
And straight away you look to Stephen Kenny, who gives an almighty punch to the Irish supporters behind his technical area. He knows that all these goals are important, and that the longer this game drifted with Ireland dominating but with no goal, that the stress would increase in their players. But it is Captain Fantastic for the second time in 4 days who gets the goal for Ireland, and we hope that history doesn't repeat itself, because John Egan, he's got a few opening goals and Ireland have ended up losing those games. Maybe this is the time As you say, it was a picture-perfect header from John Egan. One of those things when he was starting out in Greenwood down in Toher. As an 8-9-year-old, I'm sure the coaches were saying, head it down into the ground. And there was great power behind it and nothing the Armenian keeper could do.
Yeah, everything was right. The delivery was really good, and it put it into an area where you had to just go and attack it. Just 7 yards out, right in the middle of the goal. Got a really good run and jump. You'd have to feel that set pieces when you look at the height of the Armenians. We certainly have the advantage in O'Shea, Collins and Egan, so that's something that we probably need to capitalise on. Done all our work there. Hell of a finish. You have to question why they don't have anyone on the post, the Armenians, but we've taken our opportunity, 1-0 up.
So Shane Duffy's getting a bit worried in the bench. That was his gig. Free kick to Armenia, 10 yards inside the Irish half. First chance for them to create something. Drilled in. Bazuna's out. He's commanding in the air. He looks for options and he rolls it forward then down the right-hand side for Matt Doherty. Urge forward to Ireland. Doherty's ball was too well signposted and easily cut out by Armenia as he looked to release Troy Parrott down the right-hand touchline.
You said it, Nate. I thought he could have given that first time, maybe just taken a little bit of a risk, just gave the defender the opportunity to get across and cut it out. We were in. Otherwise, Parrott made a really good run, break from the free kick that Armenia had.
So there's a big crowd in already. Quite a few people are still outside watching the under-21s on the TV. Thomas Torney's been in touch. That one is in the final moments of normal time and it's still scoreless, so it looks as though they're heading to extra time. Remember, the Republic of Ireland have never qualified for European under-21 championships before, and it looks like Jim Crawford's side are heading towards extra time away to Israel. Here in the senior match in the Nations League, 20 minutes gone. Republic of Ireland 1, Armenia 0. John Egan with his third international goal, and this just his 28th international cap. Feels like he's been around for a hell of a long time, the Sheffield United centre-back. And we're heading for the midway point of the first half. You are listening to Off the Ball on this, where are we, Tuesday night? It's Nathan Murphy and Stuart Byrne with you. And Grigorian is bundled over by an eager Malumbi.
That's the Malumbi that we when you give him that rope, where you give him the go-ahead to do that, he does that really well. But I'd just like to feel that, can Hendrick or a Knight do that instead of him? Because his role tonight, Malumbi, is that can he be that pivot for us? Can he just maintain that discipline, stay in a certain area? He obviously can't help himself, and to be fair to him, sometimes the team might need someone to kind of just take it by the scruff, go and make a challenge, keep the pressure on. He's obviously took an opportunity on that occasion, but I'd like to see somebody else maybe do it tonight.
Hendrick in the centre circle as everybody in Lansdowne Road stands up for the boys in green. The Irish supporters happy with what they've seen in the early stages, and the man who got that goal, John Egan, plays it with pace to this left-hand side to Knight. He helps it on then to the creator, Robbie Brady. Great cross into the area, just an inch over the head of Obafemi. He'll have enjoyed that moment, Robbie Brady, as well. It was his corner kick. He had to give up that set-piece specialist role to Conor Howerhan for a while with all the injuries. That was a beautiful delivery for John Egan's header. And Darragh O'Shea didn't hear the call from the two players standing right beside him. Instead headed it aimlessly forward, but Armenia give it straight back to Ireland again. It's an Armenian player down to our left-hand side, Behramian, but Ireland continued. Behramian's all right to get up. And now Nathan Collins has just decided to play centre midfield. Why not? For a few minutes. Gives it to Hendrick just to his right.
Don't like seeing that, Nathan. Malumbi's now he's gone in as sat in for Collins while Collins sits in the middle of the pitch, and I just don't think there's need for that. That's probably one thing that maybe Malumbi needs to say, get out of there, let me get in here, just take control of the situation.
Hendrick and Doherty almost combine again down the right hand side. Doherty certainly looks to have the beating of the Armenian defenders over there. Malumbi again putting some pressure. In a way, he's perfectly suited to that role, Malumbi, for breaking up play. It's just he is so rash at time. You just feel he's constantly on the edge of a booking. He doesn't quite have the control of Cullen.
I think it's just, his game is energy, and to be fair to him, he can play. It's almost like you'd feel that maybe when he comes towards the latter stage of his career, when, you kind of have to slow down, that he'll certainly become that more creative midfielder, get on the ball, get his pass him over. I just feel at the moment he's young, he's eager, he's keen, he's fit. Just wants to get involved, wants to make tackles.
And this time cross to the right hand side for a hefty challenge. Since the goal, Armenia have actually come into the game a little bit. They started to have a bit of possession. Ireland not quite at the tempo they were for the first 15-16 minutes of the game. A chance to just recess. Stephen Kenny's looking at it and thinking, what could be better? Is it maybe get Parrott and Obafemi into the game a bit more?
I'd like to see Hendrick and Knight actually get a little bit more involved, because I do think they in turn will bring Troy Parrott and Obafemi into the game. But just the way the game is, it's just so tight and rash at the moment. It's very difficult for to kind of tread balls through to Jason Knight and Hendrick. And I just feel that maybe our back three doesn't need to be as high up the pitch as it is. I think we can just park ourselves on that halfway line and just maybe give Malumbi a little bit more time in that central midfield area.
Armenia attacking over on the far side. Collins putting some pressure on. He had a little push. He didn't, says the referee. Allows play to continue, and now Ireland can try and come in a counter-attack. Collins plays a 1-2 with Parrott. Midway inside his own half, Troy Parrott. He's chopped to the ground and gets Ireland a free kick.
Can we get the ball, Nathan?
A bit annoyed.
So, we probably need to get the ball. Can we get it going quickly? You can see Armenia, they're walking back. We need to inject a little bit more pace into the restart.
Free kick is played to this left-hand side to Brady. We said part of the problem for Ireland is it's their centre halves are doing all the passing. The ball is always coming far more to O'Shea and Collins, as it is now with Nathan Collins, than it is to Hendrick and Knight.
But can we say to Collins, Egan, just give yourself 10 yards, drop back 10 yards, allow Jason to maybe come in 10 yards deeper, and that should drag Armenia out, and then in turn maybe try and get like Jason Knight and Hendrick into those key pocket areas.
Into extra time in the European Championship Under-21 playoff between Israel and Republic of Ireland. Scoreless on the night, 1-1 on aggregate, so they will play extra time in Tel Aviv. A massive achievement already by Jim Crawford's side to get to this stage. So many of tonight's team could have been lining out there. They'll probably lose a few more of them if they do qualify as well, because there'll be European Championship qualifiers on at the same time next June as the finals, but that's a headache Jim Crawford will take. A little bit of a coming together between O'Shea and Behramian. A little bit of afters as well. The end result is a free kick for Armenia. O'Shea was a bit loose on Barseghian.
Tell you what, Nathan, if the under-21s win that game, James Crawford might come out for the night. I'll tell you about that another time.
Is that other time going to be when they qualify? In about half an hour?
Hopefully.
When does his name go from Jim to James? Stewie's got the look in his eye. Here's Jeff Hendrick. Oh, he plays between Obafemi and Parrott. However, Parrott intercepts, wins it back for Ireland. 30 yards out now is Robbie Brady. Ball along the ground. Knight tried to just twist and turn, but there was too much pace on it. Doherty misses the bounce, and now Zelarayan will come away over on the left-hand side for Armenia. Going for the crossfield ball. It was a bit too much on it there over the head of Barseghian, and Robbie Brady tracked all the way back, gets his head on it and gives it back to Gavin Bazunu. Ireland have, I think it's fair to say, lost their way in the last 5 minutes. Certainly lost the early tempo that they had.
Yeah, gone a little bit scrappy. I mean, it goes back a little bit to that time when we saw Nathan Collins suddenly end up in central midfield.
Ball in there towards Obafemi. He couldn't control it, but it almost spun invitingly for Parrott. However, Armenia again are just about able to get rid. Monroy, and now it's Grigorian. Ireland pressing high over on the left-hand side, but Armenia do well to find a space, and just that last pass lets them down, and Ireland managed to win it back again. Here's another position where Parrott picks it up. You just wonder, can he turn and head towards goal? Can they take the safe ball back? Brady looking for options, and all the zip and life has gone out of the game.
But even on that previous occasion, Behramian, the number 7, has found himself almost in the centre of the pitch on the break. It was a loose pass and he didn't get it, but if he had gotten under control, they would have been, they would have been coming on as Armenia.
Brady's cross, headed clear. It's picked up again by Brady, but he gives it away, and there's a high challenge by Malumbi, and Jason Malumbi is going to get that yellow card that I said felt almost inevitable. He went straight through Zella Ryan there, high, and you can see it coming a mile off. A little loose, a little late, a little over-eager, and like in Scotland on Saturday, Ireland's holding midfielder picks himself up a booking very early in the game, an hour to go, and you'd be a little bit concerned if you're Stephen Kenny from that joy of John Egan's 17th minute goal. Really felt at that stage like Ireland had started the game so well, total control, that they'd kick on quickly and get a few goals, but it's been very, very scrappy since, as we head for the half-hour mark here and off the ball. The Republic of Ireland leading Armenia by 1-0. And say the under-21s, they're into extra time between Israel and the Republic of Ireland. The other game in this group, by the way, is still scoreless between Ukraine and Scotland. So as it stands, Scotland will be promoted to League A. And here is John Egan.
At the moment, you can just see Jason Knight, Henrik, that's wandering. Parrott has now dropped in deep, now trying to get involved, see if we can shift a few Armenian players. They're being quite rigid at the moment. Armenia, that's obviously they're going to be their game plan. And that's fair enough. We have to ask a few more questions. Like I say, I haven't yet seen anyone really get the game by the scruff of the neck and maybe try to start tread balls through to Obafemi or Parrott. Take a few more risks now. We're 1-0 up. We're at home.
And Parrott gives it away. Again, can't control as the ball bounce back towards him. And Armenia playing it out from the back. A risky back heel, almost invited Malumbi to jump in there. He's urging Brady to step forward. Armenia trying to build down the right hand side, but it'll come to nothing. Dara O'Shea has it, and then Brady with his right foot passes it back to John Egan. But Ireland are comfortable in 2/3 of the pitch. If when they head towards the final third, they just look very short of options. Is it just the pace of it? Because when they were playing with pace in the first 50 minutes before they got the goal, they were opening up Armenia quite easily.
The only thing I would say, even Doherty now is starting to come in quite narrow, and that doesn't help the cause, to be quite honest with you. He needs to stay wide and high, and we need to move Armenia. Quick passing, move them across the pitch. They may try and frustrate us for the moment, but at least come 70 minutes, 75 minutes, you will have tired them out. You need to work them, Nathan. Probably not doing that at the moment.
Nathan Collins on the right-hand angle of the penalty area shows how advanced Ireland are. Malumbi, and now Knight helps it on to Brady. Brady at the end line, can he keep it in? Can he? Dinks it towards the back post, towards Michael Obafemi. He can't control it. Doherty volleys it towards goal, comes off the back of Monroy, and then Malumbi wins the header. Better from Ireland that time. 1-0, 31 minutes gone. Just inside the Armenian half is the Irish captain and goal scorer John Egan. Knight, Collins. Doherty goes back to Nathan Collins again. Still only 21, hard to believe. Nathan Collins, just his 8th appearance for the national side tonight. And the look of a lad who, if he can stay fit, he wouldn't be surprised if he got to 108. Nice. Brings it towards the edge of the area. Spins one in towards Parrott. Back to Knight again. Comes off the backside of a Armenian defender and spins out to the right-hand side. It worked out for Ireland there. It wasn't the most convincing of play between Knight and Parrott, but
thought about hitting it, Knight, didn't he? I think then he just all of a sudden saw Troy Parrott in his peripheral vision and said, maybe pop it into him, try and get a return pass. It wasn't a bad effort in the end, but last couple of minutes now, probably starting to see Jason Knight in particular getting himself into pockets. Set pieces are key. Obviously, Robbie Brady's previous delivery for Egan was excellent, and have a look at the.
Can Ireland repeat the trick then? Is Brady in the same spot? The centre halves are all in there yet again. Brady, similar delivery. This time it doesn't come to John Egan, and the flag is up. I think Egan was the one having a tug on the jersey of the Armenian defender. This time referee Brinovic blows his whistle.
There was a lot of holding going on, especially in the initial pack. John Egan and Nathan Collins just getting the group together, looking to do that split run. The delivery was good from Robbie Brady again. Hit a good area. That might be our best way to go, Nathan, for the just between now and half time. Set pieces, there's no harm in it, especially when you consider how compact and Resourceful Armenia have been so far.
Well, I'll probably keep saying this. The first goal was obviously important. A second goal would kill the Armenian challenge and probably makes it a bit more straightforward to get a few more.
Yeah, you just got to keep doing the right things. That's, when you go 1-0 up at home, there can be maybe a psychological tendency just to think that it's going to be a foregone conclusion. And we've probably been guilty of that for the last 10 minutes. But you need to keep moving them, keep trying things. Like I say, if at the very least you work them hard enough, they'll wilt 70 minutes or so.
Femi. Hendricks cross from the right hand side is up towards Matt Doherty. Keeper punches it straight up into the air, smashed in by Brady, right footed, blocked by the Armenian defender, and they'll have a chance to clear their lines. But Parrott goes in and wins the challenge over on the right hand side. Whoever can't keep hold of the ball, Armenia bring it forward. Malumbi slides in and puts it out of play for a throw in. Keeper not exactly convincing there, Yurchenko.
No, he certainly wasn't, was he?
From Hendrick. There wasn't any huge pressure on him.
It was kind of lobbed into the air by Hendrick, wasn't it? But I think he needs to come and catch that. He didn't really know what he was doing. He certainly didn't know where the ball had gone. I felt that Robbie Brady on his right peg looked like he got on target as well. Not for the first time an Armenian defender just threw himself in front of it.
Now Knight has a bit of space down this left-hand side, driving forward for Ireland. Has Brady on his outside, runs into a bit of a dead end, so gives it back to Brady. Quick 1-2. Knight pulls it back towards Brady again, comes off the defender, and Bayramian was back helping out, and it'll be another corner kick to the Republic of Ireland. 35 minutes gone.
It's a good play from Ireland, Nathan, but you just feel that return pass from Jason Knight. It's a straightforward pass. We've done this corner quickly now, 2v1.
There's a bit of space in the area. Brady, ball almost got caught under his feet. A couple of little step overs, and the flag is up. Is that as a result? It must have been a result, I presume, of the short corner as the ball was played back to Robbie Brady. And that's a bit of a mess. No, that's poor from Ireland there. Brady was about 3 yards offside as the ball was played back to him by Knight.
They're not even playing at Armenia. They were just literally sleepwalking out.
And John Egan puts a frustrated figure. So Yurchenko sends it down to the right hand side, which is where the Armenians are attacking. If you're just joining us on this Tuesday night, Ireland lead by a 1-0 with 36 minutes gone. John Egan scored the goal on 17 minutes. It was a powerful header from Robbie Brady's corner. He'd had another header. There was an opportunity a couple of minutes before that, and Michael Obafemi had a half chance as well. That's about it. Armenia have created nothing so far, but maybe Ireland can go and create something now. Obafemi drifting out to the right hand side. A support there from Doherty. Again, it's just too slow.
Needs to go back early, Nathan. Yeah.
Played in to the edge of the area to Hendrick. Hendrick's back towards Doherty again. It was a slide rule ball that was so easily defended, and Armenia can't clear their lines. It hasn't been great, it's got to be said.
We're just struggling at the moment with decision making, Nathan. Simple as that. That's a perfect example of Obafemi. Once he gets turned, it's a little drop for Doherty, first time cross, delivery into the box. That's going to ask questions of Armenia. We probably haven't gotten enough crosses into the box in this first half. When you consider the fact that the goal has come from a corner kick, it's all a little bit too predictable. But decision making is just a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish. Could be in.
Now Hendrick, right hand side, as he cuts it back from the end line, it's blocked by Haroyan and spins behind for yet another corner kick for Ireland. A few more gaps starting to open up in the last couple of minutes. It was pinged through along the ground by Nathan Collins. Had the necessary pace to release Hendrick in behind the Armenian defence.
Got to be careful here with the holding. Obviously the referee's scrutinising it. He's perched right behind him, isn't he? Looking for any little bit of a pull.
So Brady again. Doherty and Obafemi right in on top of the goalkeeper. And the three centre halves just on the edge of the area. Up steps Brady. Good pace on it, but again met by a red jersey rather than the green jersey. And powerfully headed out of play for a throw in over on the far side of the pitch. Ireland stole about 20 yards with that throw in. Sent in high, but there was only Troy Parrott in there. It was over his head. And Armenia have it in the right back position. Ireland have lost just one of their last 8 games here at home. Shock defeat to Luxembourg before that, but since then it's just Ukraine who've come to Dublin and come away with all 3 points.
That was the low point, wasn't it? Luxembourg. Don't mention Luxembourg. Never got over that one, Nathan.
It's one of those, when Nirvana played in Cork, thousands of people said they were there. Nobody wants to say they were at that Luxembourg game, ever.
No, it's the opposite of Nirvana in Cork.
Anyways, this has been slightly better, shall we say. Ireland have a goal at least, and they lead Armenia by a goal to nil. But Armenia have got themselves a corner for the first time in this game. Built it down the left-hand side, and some defending to do for Ireland as they try and get themselves organised. Need to be switched on now. They've been quite comfortable in this game. Has that sort of friendly feel to it at the moment. The ball is sent in dangerously. It's off the head of Robbie Brady, and it'll come to this near side, and it'll be a throw into the visitors.
It's coming into that period in the game, you know, you need to be tuned in. 40 minutes. Don't want to drop the concentration levels, giving Armenia any kind of a little half chance.
Brady's been all action so far. Manages to get the clearance, only back though as far as Callisier. Nice. And Malumbi and Egan win it back, and they go to Gavin Bazunu on the edge of the 6-yard box. A little bit of pressure applied by Beramian, but he manages to clear it up into the Armenian half. Obafemi can't get there, and Obafemi and Parrott will try and chase down the keeper as the ball's played back. He gets it up into the Irish half, where Nathan Collins, as casual as you like, just heads the ball down to Doherty, on into Hendrick. Now inside the area, over on the right hand side is Parrott, pulls it back first time. That occasion he actually probably needed to be a bit more patient and wait for some more support to come up, but it's brought clear by Jordy Monroy over on the left hand side. And Jordy Monroy draws the foul. Sounds a bit like a lad who went to college with Galway, Jordy Monroy.
Good guy. I'm actually still taken by the fact that Cork, or Nirvana, played in Cork. Where did they play in Cork?
I'm going to say
what year?
Cypress Avenue.
Yeah? What year?
Someone will text into 506 quickly and tell me if I'm wrong. It was about 91, yeah. Said there's about 200 people there. About 20,000 people claim to be there.
Oh, I'd actually like to know. Please text in. I wouldn't mind knowing that.
When's Stuart Byrne playing next is what we all want to know. Well, we'll have to come back because my mate Jordy Monroy has the ball. And Armenia are on the attack over on the left-hand side. Sperzianu scored the goal in Yerevan. We haven't seen a lot of him so far. He was in a position to shoot, but Ireland closed them down quickly, and Armenia are having their best spell of the game with 4 minutes to go until half-time, though they trail by a goal to nil. Beramian, 25 yards out. Doherty steps out in front of him, and Armenia are forced to go back towards the halfway line. And then the ball forward, and it breaks down as Andre Callisier of Silkeborg plays a heavy pass, and it's back safely in the arms of Gavin Bazunu. It's 11 years since Armenia made their only other trip to Dublin. It was a tight game, a 2-1 win for Ireland. Richard Dunn scored the winner that night.
These are the games, Nathan. You know, the crowd obviously expects it to dominate. We were talking about beforehand, I expect us to get at least 3, that kind of thing. But we've always struggled, especially in terms of, trying to create opportunities, that little bit of quality.
Well, Ireland have only really created one opportunity from open play.
It's the kind of game that we do tend to struggle in, and not that I wouldn't say we're struggling at the moment, but certainly we're a little bit short of ideas, and we just like to think maybe can we be a little bit more braver in our passing.
No, Brady's cross doesn't get past the first man. And Shea picks it up, and across the halfway line he goes, where it'll be collected by Collins. First time on to Hendrick. And you can tell by the atmosphere, I'm sure, at home, that it's all just fallen a little bit flat over the last little while. Remember, Armenia have to win this game to leapfrog Ireland in the Nations League table and relegate the Republic of Ireland. At the moment, that does not look like it's going to happen, as the Armenian goalkeeper comes right to the right edge of his penalty area, sticks his arm out and just about keeps the ball in his hand and stops it going out for a free kick. So 90 seconds of normal time remaining. Can't imagine to be too much injury time. Still scoreless in that under-21 playoff at half-time. Egan strong header forward towards Obafemi. Wouldn't be surprised if we saw Stuart Byrne at some stage, as in Scotland, quite early in the second half. Parrott and Obafemi haven't really been able to make any sort of an impact.
I think he'd be worried about Malumbi, wouldn't he, Nathan? He's been excellent in the game, to be fair to him, but the fact that he's booked is, you know, he's that kind of player that he doesn't pull out tackles, and you see he's just there, he's still mopping up, he's cleaning up, he's getting himself into position where he's blocking passes, but if he puts one foot wrong, he's off the pitch, and that certainly could be a worry for Stephen Kenny.
Shane drives forward down the left side and throws himself to the ground, looks for the free kick, but he runs it out of play, and it'll be a throw-in to the Armenians in just the final minute of this first half.
Just an indication, Nathan, where, you know, psychologically where we're at the moment. I don't think he needs to go down there. It probably is a foul, but it's not much in it. But he'd green grass ahead of him. I thought maybe O'Shea could have continued his run and gotten himself into a good situation. But there's been a couple of occasions now in the last few minutes where decision making hasn't been great. And
part of the issue, I think, has been Jeff Hendrick in particular, that when he came back into the team, you thought with him in the more advanced role, he'd be just in behind the two strikers, but it's been way too big a gap between them. Obafemi, edge of the area, played in by Brady, again can't get it out from underneath his feet. Doherty steps in, beautiful little step over from Doherty, maybe overcomplicated it and ran straight into that man mountain of Barazdat Haroyan. The referee blows the half-time whistle. Stephen Kenny has a little bit of a grimace on the sideline. They've got the goal, the Republic of Ireland, but he knows it hasn't been good enough since then. Ireland started the game really well and with a really good pace and urgency, and they were looking dangerous, and they got their goal on 17 minutes from a set piece yet again. And once again, it was John Egan who got that goal. Robbie Brady over on the far side of the pitch whipped it in, left-footed, and Egan delivered a brilliant, powerful header down into the ground, bounced up past the goalkeeper, and Ireland got the goal. And you hoped that would ease the tension and release the Irish players, but if anything, it's been like the Ireland of old, whereby they've sat back, they've lost all their energy, all the tempo, all the pace, haven't really created anything since then. And Armenia, well, they haven't tested Gavin Bazunu in any way, but they have got a bit of a foothold in the game, and Stephen Kenny definitely has something to think about, because there's too many players not involved enough in the attacking game.
Yeah, I spotted that grimace, to be fair, and I think that says it all, doesn't it, really? Very good for the first 15 minutes, I would say, but and we got the goal maybe at a time when you know, I don't think we were really putting too much pressure on Armenia, but certainly set piece always have an opportunity to get a goal, especially when you've got Robbie Brady and the likes of Egan and Collins in the team. But I just think that the decision making hasn't been good on occasion. I think it's gone a little bit flat. It's definitely one of them games where tactically it needs to change. I never like seeing situations where your centre half ends up as the central midfielder, and you know, it just tells me that it's a little bit too lax, and you need to continue to do the right things all the time. And I'm seeing similarities in this game to that away game in Armenia, whereby our back three was far too advanced, and they were the ones getting on the ball almost like a quarterback, and just it's all very monotonous, predictable. It's going out to the right, it's coming back into the central position, it's going out to the left, it's coming back in, and it's just repetitive and very, very easy to defend against. So I'd like to see the back three maybe a little bit deeper. Can we get the likes of Hendrick to come deeper and play in that more central creative role? I think Malumbi is a risk at the moment, and maybe it's a risk not worth taking.
Yeah, he was booked in that first half, Jason Malumbi. Otherwise had a very fine game in the middle of the Irish midfield. It is the captain who has done the business again, though, for Ireland in the first half. John Egan with his second goal in 4 days means at the break it is the Republic of Ireland 1, Armenia 0. Second half commentary to come.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, get all the football you love in one place across Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports.
The Pat Kenny Show.
Ambassador Yuri Filatov joins us once again on the programme. Ambassador, you're very welcome.
Hello, good morning.
Do you believe that President Putin has the appetite to use nuclear weapons?
In certain circumstances, such as existential threat to Russia, the nuclear weapons could be used, and there should be no doubt about that.
The Pat Kenny Show.
With Mater Private Network.
Weekdays at 9 a.m. on News Talk.
Treat yourself to the perfect break this autumn in Leitrim. Explore the rich and ancient heritage sites, walk the floating boardwalk, try a unique distillery experience and savour award-winning local cuisine. For special offers, visit enjoyleitrim.com.
With everyone looking to shrink their bill these days, Dunnes Stores gives you new ways to save on your shop with double savers. First, you'll save in the aisles when you fill your basket with fantastic low prices across thousands of great products. Then you'll save again at the till with our 5 off 25 grocery voucher. Shrink your bill with double savers, new from Dunnes Stores. Dunnes Stores, always better value. Terms and conditions apply. Voucher can be used on next in-store grocery shop of €25 or more.
Switch to Air today and get 1 month free business broadband. Power your way through the working day with seamless connectivity and reliability. Enjoy unlimited fibre broadband from Ireland's #1 business broadband provider from only €44.99 a month with 1 month free. For more, visit air.ie/business, go in store or call 1-800-207-407. Air. Let's make possible. Subject to availability. Offers available to new Air Business broadband customers. Pricing excludes VAT. For full terms, see air.ie/business.
The Jets, the Raiders, the Seahawks, the Rams, the Giants and the 49ers. The most popular sport on the planet, NFL. And Cassidy Travel's sports and events will take you there to the heart of the action with flights, stay and tickets. Cassidy Travel and NFL. The perfect combo. Visit CassidyTravel.ie.
It's the mobile sale you've been searching for. Switch to Virgin Mobile now and get unlimited data, calls and texts for only €5 a month for 6 months. And join a network with 99.7% coverage across Ireland. Hurry, sale ends soon. Virgin Media, bring on amazing.
SIM-only contract €25 a month after offer. Cancel anytime on 30 days notice. Ends October 12th, 2022. For details, T's and C's and acceptable usage policy, see virginmobile.ie.
Join VHI Healthcare today for just €61.99 per adult per month on our First Care 500 day-to-day plan and unlock a wide range of services. Search VHI First Care to join today. Terms and conditions apply. VHI Healthcare DAC trading as VHI Healthcare is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
You stand for peace, and yet you fight for a clean future. With energy made in Europe.
You live democracy, but don't compromise when it comes to climate protection.
You want a climate-neutral Europe. Renewables will get us there.
Day by day, more and more people are joining you on your way. You are Europe.
Greener choices are the key to a sustainable future. That's why Energia is leading the way in renewable energy technologies like wind, solar and battery storage. Because the choices we all make today will change how we live tomorrow.
There's a lot to consider when buying a used car. So consider this. The Audi Approved Plus range gives you unrivaled reassurance. A 12-month warranty and roadside assistance, age and mileage verification. All original Audi parts for repairs and replacements. And that's all after our rigorous 110-point check. Audi Approved Plus. Living progress in every detail. Contact your Audi dealer and choose your used car today.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch Premier League, Women's Super League, EFL, Scottish Premiership and much more. Live on Sky Sports.
Sent in, and John Egan goes up, and he's got that home goal. The Irish captain has done it again for the second game in a row. Ireland have got the goal that their early dominance deserved. Robbie Brady's corner kick, and John Egan smashes the header into the back of the net. Republic of Ireland 1, Armenia 0.
Yes, John Egan practically prolific of late. 2 goals in 2 games, and that was about as good as it got for the Republic of Ireland against Armenia. Very bright opening 20 minutes, has dissipated somewhat in the second half of the first half. 1-0 at the break. Meanwhile, in Tel Aviv, there is a place at the European Championships for the Irish under-21 team at stake, and we have gone to extra time. 1-1 from the first leg in Tala. We are 0-0. Second half of extra time has just kicked off in Tel Aviv. Updates as we get them across the evening. So that one could well go to penalties. Stuart Byrne's alongside me. We've watched Ireland 1, Armenia 0 that first 45 minutes. First 22 minutes or so, which included John Egan's goal. On 22 minutes, the whole stadium, and by the way, it has really filled up here. We were sceptical of the 44,000 in advance of kickoff, but I wouldn't think we're too far off it. And on 22 minutes, the whole stadium stand up for the boys in green, and there was a sense that this was going to be a very good night for Stephen Kenny and team. And for whatever reasons, Stewie, tactical or otherwise, just the second half of that first half, the impetus that Ireland had has ebbed somewhat. Why has that happened, do you think?
Yeah, sometimes it's very hard to kind of put your finger on it. You know, you can be guilty of maybe thinking, okay, we've gotten the goal, this is going to be our night, these are going to roll over. You know, it tends to be a subliminal thing. I don't think players go around saying, look, you know, these are here for the taking, but
they are very average, aren't they?
They are very
How did
average.
they win that game in Yerevan?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking, weren't we, you know, just off air there, that, you know, how we could do with a Wes Houlihan or a, you know, a fit Jack Bourne, or just somebody who can pick a pocket, because it really is lacking that kind of a player that can get themselves into a really tight situation. Because to be fair to Armenia, they've just parked the bus. They've effectively played the game within a 30-yard strip, to be quite honest with you. And we've been a little bit guilty of, you know, just kind of going with it a little bit. I felt when we played Armenia over there, there was you know, something quite similar happening in the game. When you play against a team that just effectively parks the bus in front of you, it doesn't, you know, help you to kind of squeeze right up and, you know, effectively play the whole game within the space of 40 yards. Like, you know, you need to have players on the pitch to say, hang on a second, let's drop back 10 yards, 15 yards, especially the back three. Let's see if we can get Jason Malumbi to come a little bit deeper. In turn, that might draw one or two Armenia players out. We might be able to get Hendrick and Jason Knight into little pockets, and it just has to be all done in unison and with a little bit more intelligence, a little bit more pace, and it's just all become a little bit too predictable now. We've fallen into this stage where it's Nathan Collins, it's out to Doherty, it's back to Nathan Collins, it's into John Egan, it's gone out to Robbie Brady, it's come back in. It's just all very repetitive.
And increasingly the passing channels into Obafemi and Parrott are congested.
Well, they've been blocked off, yeah, because, you know, that's the way Armenia are playing. They've got 11 players are just effectively in a very, very tight bunch, so we have to do something to move them. And, you know, if there isn't an obvious player on the pitch that can maybe play that pass, then at the very least you have to move the ball across the pitch a lot quicker so as to work the opposition, so as that maybe come 70 minutes or so, these are getting tired and then the gaps start to come in. So, and we can mix it up a little bit more as well. I think there's nothing wrong with maybe getting it wide quicker. Can we get early deliveries into the box, or can we be a little bit more direct to get them to ask a few more questions?
I was just going to say, on 10 minutes, Jason Knight put in a fantastic cross for Obafemi, who flicked it just wide. And that's almost the last cross of that type that we've had in the 45 minutes. And you think, well, the marking hasn't been very good for any ball that's gone in, both set piece and even for that Obafemi chance. And we've kind of neglected to do that very often since, instead of swinging a few in and just keep Obafemi and Parrott interested. And equally, you mentioned about mixing it up. One or two occasions Matt Doherty's had a bit of impetus about him and has had the beating of his man, but again, we don't seem to do it again after it's happened. There was the one where Doherty got down the right hand side and cut inside and ball went out for a corner. So just those moments, as you said, have been fewer and far between as the game has gone on, and Ireland are almost comfortable just passing it around without really hurting Armenia.
Well, if you let's go through a couple of players. If you look at like Robbie Brady, Matt Doherty, for example, okay, now we're obviously trying to play with high wing backs, and they're operating in a high wing back role. Okay, they're occupying an area of the pitch, I'd imagine about 40 yards out from the opposition goal, and that's the area they're taking up. But too easy to mark. You know, maybe drop 10 yards. See if you can draw that fullback out to go and mark you. But I do think it has to come from the back three. If the back three are a little bit deeper, then there's a domino effect with everybody else. Malumbi is our central pivotal player now, our Josh Cullen for the night, if you like. If Josh Cullen was playing, there's no way he'd be as advanced as Malumbi is tonight. He'd be looking to come in deeper. He'd be pushing Egan back, pushing Nathan Collins back. Let me in here, and let's see if we can draw a couple of the Armenians out. And I think that can come from the bench as well. And maybe not. It wouldn't be as much a criticism of the shape of the team. Probably needs to come from the bench. I'd like to see that, but that's just my opinion.
That said, there's still enough space in there. We've seen Jeff Hendrick more than most try and force the issue and play the more aggressive passes, but hasn't really come off for Hendrick.
He just can't get in. He can't get into that area, can he? Really, you know, it's to be fair to Armenia, they're game. You know, they are game. They're running around. They're snatching at things. They're snapping at things. There are on occasions times where Hendrick's gotten the ball and there's been 1 or 2 or 3 on him. They obviously see him as the danger man, but he just can't get himself into those areas.
No, we'll hope for more in the second half, which is just about to get underway. Just before we start the second half, should let you know all this week across Off the Ball, we're giving away an incredible prize, really. It's a trip to LA for an NFL game. So really, you and 2 friends could be jetting off with the multi-award winning Cassidy Travel on direct Aer Lingus flights. You'll take off December 1st. 4 nights in the Wayfarer Hotel, which is a 4-star hotel in downtown LA. And you'll get to take in LA Rams against Seattle Seahawks in the brand new SoFi Stadium. So not a bad prize at all. To be in the chance, just follow @Cassidy Travel on Twitter. Retweet our competition post, all with thanks to Cassidy Travel, your one-stop sports travel shop. You can check out CassidyTravel.ie. What a thought. So it's a prize for 3 people. Imagine me, Nathan, Stewie, LA, December.
I'll tell you what, it's not unusual for the guy that runs the draw to win the draw, but we'll have to see what happens there. You're welcome back. Second half just about to get underway. No changes for either side at the break. It is the Republic of Ireland 1, Armenia 0, as the Nations League draws to a close. Oh, how we shall miss the Nations League as it disappears for a couple of years. Stewie, it's brought us here for matches, and you know,
it's brought us together, Nathan. I don't know whether that's a good or bad thing.
Really? There we go. Second half just getting underway. John Egan's goal giving the Republic of Ireland a 1-0 lead. Chiodozie Bene, by the way, was going through a bit more of an intense form than everybody else at half-time. Damien Doyle, the physio, was over having a chat with him as well, so I wouldn't be surprised if we saw him quite early in this second half. Hasn't quite happened for Michael Obafemi or for Troy Parrott, but maybe it will now, because Parrott knocks it down towards Jeff Hendrick. Republic of Ireland, green jerseys, white shorts, green socks, playing down to our right-hand side. And Armenia all in red on the attack at the start of this second half, with Barsegian 30 yards from the Irish goal. He lays it off to his left-hand side. Sperzian, the goal scorer in Yerevan at the start of this campaign, plays a very loose ball. It's collected by Michael Obafemi. He feels he was fouled as he turned and wanted to head towards the Armenian goal, but play on, says the referee. It is Gavin Bazunu in goal for the Republic of Ireland. Didn't have a save to make in that first half. Back 3 have been very comfortable. Collins, the goal scorer, Egan and O'Shea. Matt Doherty on the right, he has played well so far, and Robbie Brady's had a lot of touches. He was the man who set up the goal as well from the corner kick. He's on the left-hand side. Jason Malumbi is playing the Josh Cullen role. He's already been booked. It's been all action. He's been very impressive, but one loose challenge that we sort of felt was coming from Jason Malumbi earned him a yellow card. Jeff Hendrick just to the right, Jason Knight just to the left, and then Troy Parrott and Michael Obafemi are the front 2. Now Ireland play a quick 1-2, and the return ball from Hendrick has to be better as Doherty released him. If he played the right pass there, Matt Doherty was free down the right hand side, and it wasn't good enough.
Yeah, they're the basics, Nathan. You know, that's when you just feel that, you know, psychologically we're just not 100% kind of falling into the trap of we're playing Armenia. It's a Tuesday night, it's a game we're expected to win. Just needs to be better. It needs to be better all round. Not just Hendrick. There's been a couple of players who've been guilty, just been a little bit sloppy in their what you consider to be fairly straightforward passes.
Throw in taken by Doherty to Hendrick, and he smashes the ball back into his own penalty area just to keep Bazunu on his toes, and Bazunu responds and heads it down towards Darragh O'Shea. Players who grew up just a couple of miles away from each other. All 11 starters for the Republic of Ireland born in Ireland, which is a real rarity. It's an 11 that we usually get, and we could have a problem here. We could have a big problem here for Jason Malumbi. He's had a little tug in the jersey. Is he going to let him away with it? He is going to let him away with it.
You need to take him off, Nathan.
That is a huge let-off for the Republic of Ireland. Ireland lost possession in midfield, and Malumbi just wraps his arm around Gregorian as he drove through the middle, and if he's not yellow carded already, it's a certain yellow card. Straight away, Keith Andrews and Stephen Kenny start having a conversation down by the technical area. Very, very silly from Malumbi. Had to let him go, and I looked certain for a second that the referee was going to give him a second yellow card and send him off. It looked as though he was almost going to his pocket and then realised who it was.
I think that's a booking in a normal I think it's a booking in a normal situation, Nathan. He's done him a favour to the referee, and to be fair to Jason, he's all action, and you need those kind of players, but he's really on a tightrope now.
Now Brady, left-hand angle of the area, sends the ball in. It took a deflection, almost crept in at the near post. He was trying to pick out Obafemi at the back post, and the keeper manages to deny Robbie Brady. Good attack from Ireland.
Just no one in there. No one in there, we're just kind of getting in there a little bit late. It's probably the first time we've really kind of gotten in behind Armenia down that left hand side. Robbie Brady, as you can see, he's kind of hesitating because there's no one to hit. When he does actually deliver, it gets a deflection. It could have snuck in the near post. Keeper had to be on his toes.
Armenia will be well within their rights to be very annoyed that Jason Malumbi is still on the pitch.
He's got to get him off, Nathan. It's as simple as that. You got to take it out of his hands. He cannot put a foot wrong now. And
Conor Howard is probably the likely replacement as Doherty manages to win a corner down the right hand side. Just plays it off the full-back Munroy, and Ireland will have a corner kick in front of the largest crew of home supporters.
Malumbi's indicating to the bench now as if to say, I'm okay, it'll be grand, but he can see it. You can see it's coming. The manager has to take it out.
He's got his head down like a man who knows that he's made one mistake.
You've got to take it out of his hands
again.
It's part of his game. It's just something that he's not going to get out for the foreseeable future.
So corner kick for Robbie Brady, just down to our right hand side from our commentary position. Sent in very deep, and up there and winning the header was Darragh O'Shea, but he heads it down to the left and well wide. Now, Stephen Kenny's looking at this as well. I'm not saying under pressure for his job, but knowing that if Jason Malumbi were to get sent off and Ireland were to somehow not win this game, he is understandably going to get absolutely hammered.
Well, the players in it, he's in it, he's out there.
Change is going to happen. Howard is coming on.
He's got to take him off.
Egan this time with the challenge, went in full-blooded. Oh, there's a late tackle then on Jason Knight, and that may well be a yellow card. I think the referee is now going to have to let the Armenian away with this, Hambard Zumian, because he let Malumbi away with the previous one. Both of them were yellow cards. So Conor Howard is about to come on. And by the way, it's heading towards penalties in the under-21 playoff. So Jason Malumbi is not a happy man. He's been pushed off the pitch by John Egan. He only has himself to blame. It was a silly challenge in the first half. He was having a fine game aside from that, and the referee went to his pocket, looked like he was about to pull out the card, and saw it was Malumbi and decided to leave him on. So he can thank his lucky stars his team aren't down to 10 men. He's shaking his head and he's throwing his arms around. And
he has to learn, Nathan. He has to learn from it. He's a young, competitive man. He's a hell of a player, and he was having a hell of a game. But he just got himself into a situation where, given the manager no choice, had to take him off.
So Conor Howard comes on in his place. We'll keep you up to date, obviously, with that penalty shootout. What an opportunity for the 21s to qualify for the first time ever. We've got another great underage team here tonight. Brian Kerr's side that went to Malaysia back in 1997 been honoured tonight. Still 1-0. 6 minutes gone the second half. Obafemi spins brilliantly, shoots from distance. Oh, he's done it again! Michael Obafemi from almost the exact same spot that he scored in the last home game. This time drills it low into the bottom left-hand corner. Well, he only scores special goals, it seems. Michael Obafemi makes it the Republic of Ireland 2, Armenia 0.
Well, we were all just saying it, where we shoot after the previous goal he scored from that exact same position. Once he gets himself turned, he gets a little air between him. What is he? He's probably about 35 yards out. Gets a hell of a turn, get the ball out of his feet, and he's only ever going to do one thing. Previous goal he scored went to the roof of the net, but he's kept it low. Keeper just cannot get down. It's a hell of a finish. And then that decision to just make that change with Malumbi, just imagine if it had gone the other way. Ireland 2-0 up.
Smashing finish from Michael Obafemi. It's about 27, 28 yards out. It's almost the exact same spot on the pitch that he scored the goal against Scotland in the last home game for Ireland. That one went straight through the middle, up high. This one, he smashed it down low, past the despairing dive of the goalkeeper into the bottom left-hand corner of the net. And maybe that is the moment that finally releases this Irish side from their shackles. 2-0 up against Armenia. They're not going to be relegated from League B. We're destined to spend the rest of our lives in League B. Maybe we could get Georgia and Wales next time and really liven it up.
I love League B. League B is my favourite.
So it has gone to penalties in Tel Aviv. They should stick it on the big screen, really, shouldn't they?
Can you get that in real time, Nathan, as it comes through?
Well, the Wi-Fi isn't great here. They spent all their money on the sound system rather than the Wi-Fi is the problem. And Michael Obafemi had probably been the better of the front two, you'd have to say. He's certainly been the livelier of the front two. And yet again delivers a big moment for the Republic of Ireland. Ireland playing it around their own penalty area now. This is what Stephen Kenny's going to say is the new brand of football. They're pinging it around and now they're building from back to front. And it's quality possession play from Ireland. Suddenly the spaces look a lot more open. And still they have it. Driving forward towards the edge of the areas. Jason Knight out to the left hand side of goals to Brady. Brady low in. Keeper collects it at the second time of asking. Troy Parrott was waiting for it to come his way.
Left him short, Jason Knight. Had a lot of work to do here. Robbie Brady, doesn't really put it into his path. Brady not really much of an opportunity, but he's smashed it in that front post, hasn't he? Just hoping maybe Troy Parrott might have made that front post run. Just an injection of energy now from the Irish team. Armenia now look a little bit flustered. Gaps starting to appear.
Armenia have it with Monroy on the halfway line. Well, it's rare that we get a long distance goal from the Republic of Ireland, never mind 2 in 2 home games from the same player. Not a bad way to do it for Michael Obafemi.
It's going more and more rare in the game, Nathan. It's that kind of modern game is very much seems to be
modern game, Stewie. Can't be having a can you?
Pass it into the net, But to be what he does, Obafemi, and to be fair to Callum Robinson, a couple of the goals that he's gotten have come from striking the ball early. It catches the keeper off, it doesn't allow the keeper to get time to get set, and just can't get his feet right. And he's all but 30 yards out there, Obafemi, yet he still beats the keeper.
And here he is again, trying to drive his way through 5-6 Armenian players, and uses a wonderful bit of skill, but goes back towards his own goal, and it might cost Ireland, but Conor Howrahan wins an important challenge in midfield. And now Matt Doherty cuts in from the right hand side. Little ball to Obafemi, and he's buzzing now. He's involved in everything as it comes to this right hand side. And Hendrick brings it towards the end line and the edge of the penalty area. A little step inside. Dinks one towards the back post. It was inviting, it didn't have enough pace on it, and it was comfortable enough for the keeper to raise his arms above his head and collect that one, and then Armenia just give it straight back to Ireland down the other end of the pitch.
Yeah, it's the right ball from Hendrick, some nice feet, just managed to get himself a yard. I just feel that when he dinks it in, maybe can he just pull it back a little bit into that kind of penalty area rather than just put it down the throat of the goalkeeper.
Appeals for a free kick, but it comes to Parrott, and then hesitates slightly as it looked like it was going to open up from on the edge of the area. He's forced to go back to Howrahan. Brady's cross is whipped in. There's nobody in there, so it'll come all the way to this near side, and Doherty, first time pass with pace to Hendrick, then it opens up for Collins, who shoots low and drags it to the left and wide. He's not shy on confidence, Nathan Collins.
No, found himself in a good area. A little bit similar to the opportunity he had in the first half. Remember, he got a little bit hesitant, got caught between maybe a shot and a cross, decided to cross in the first half, but you see what he was trying to do there. He's trying to guide it along the ground and that far post, a little bit where Obafemi's shot went in, but encouraged by the crowd, you would say.
Armenia now trailing by 2-0. 57 minutes gone on a cold night at the Aviva Stadium. And Stephen Kenny now surely going to see the Republic of Ireland into the Euro 2024 qualifiers. The draw for that takes place on Sunday week in Frankfurt. Ireland will be third seeds. There is plenty of quality teams among the second seeds, the likes of England and France. They could well end up with potentially Hungary among the top seeds. So, as always in these things, a favourable draw changes the dynamic. This win as well will move Ireland up potentially in the Nations League rankings, which increases their chances of getting a playoff. It's certainly not as guaranteed as it was the last time, when Ireland could quite literally have lost all their games in the European Championship qualification campaign and they still would have got a playoff. This time they're going to need a couple of favours from other sides if they can't finish inside the top 2.
23 places up for grabs in the Euros, is that right, Nathan?
Correct. Germany qualify automatically. That's the easy part, Stewie.
Would that be hard? You know, I know they've extended out the Euros.
Nathan Collins urged to shoot 30 yards out, instead plays the ball into the area to Parrott down the right hand side. He pulls it back. It's cleared out of play by the Armenian defender for a corner kick to Ireland, just down to our right. Brady sprints across the peg.
I see Armenia getting stretched now. They're getting deeper and deeper. And Nathan Collins finding himself in that area where he's playing threatening ball through for Troy Parrott, and that second goal has obviously caused all sorts of issues for Armenia. They look tired now, and they're stretching all the time.
Penalties underway. Conor Coventry scored Ireland's opening penalty, but Israel have scored their opening penalty as well, and Tyreek Wright has just seen his penalty saved, a poor penalty, so advantage Israel. As the corner comes in, it's flicked on by Nathan Collins at the near post, but it's flicked over the top of the crossbar. The Israeli goalkeeper took their second penalty and he scored. So 2-1 to Israel. Both sides have taken 2 penalties. Remember, the Republic of Ireland have never qualified for European Under-21 Championship before. A couple of changes for
number 17,
Armenia.
Jordi Monroy being replaced by number 20, Artak Dastia.
So a couple of changes, and the other one coming off is
Evan Ferguson's missed as well.
Evan Ferguson, he just came on for the second half of extra time. He wasn't fit. Hit it straight down the middle, and it was saved, and Ireland left with a mountain to climb in that penalty shootout. So close. But they have now missed 2 of their first 3 penalties. An hour gone at the Aviva Stadium. You're listening to Off the Ball on this Tuesday night. Republic of Ireland 2, Armenia 0. John Egan on 17 minutes with a header from a Robbie Brady corner kick, and then another spectacular goal from Michael Obafemi. Ireland scored a lot of spectacular goals of late. Nathan Collins in Ukraine. Set pieces and spectacular goals.
We'll take it.
Nice all mix.
We'll take it, Nathan. Any day.
Here's Jason Nice. And Hendrick with a lovely touch to open some space. 25 yards out. He shoots for goal. Hits it with the outside of his right boot. And it's always just spinning ever so slightly to the right and wide. Needed to really cut across it. Israel hit the post with their 3rd penalty. So both sides have taken 3 penalties in Tel Aviv. It is Israel 2, Republic of Ireland 1. So maybe we're not done yet.
Next one's huge, isn't it? Got to score.
I think a lot of people here have one eye on this and one eye on that. Hendrick leaves it, and Armenia pounce in midfield. An attack down the left-hand side with the substitute Dashian. And one back by Matt Doherty. Dawson Devoy misses his penalty kick. Ireland have missed 3 of their 4 penalty kicks, and you ain't going to qualify or win penalty shootouts with that. Another poor penalty. Jim Crawford said they had practiced penalties. Every single player in the squad had been practicing penalties here in Ireland. They didn't want to practice penalties when they got to Israel in case there was some spies watching them. And Israel have a penalty to win it. Now, Obafemi turns, plays it through for Parrott. Has Parrott got the pace? There was just too much pace on the ball for Troy Parrott. And if the keeper comes out quickly to the edge of his area, Michael Obafemi, transformed player since he got that goal. And now Armenia over on the right hand side with Novoskanyan, and Israel have won the penalty shootout. Israel beat Ireland 3-1 on penalties. The Republic of Ireland missing 3 of their 4 penalties in that shootout. Heartbreak for that young crop of Irish players and for Jim Crawford. So close to making history. And you can see, look, hundreds and hundreds of Irish supporters starting to stream back into the stadium. They were showing the match on the TVs just outside. And well, they may well have missed a stunner from Michael Obafemi while they were out there watching that, but that's hugely disappointing. Those sort of chances don't come around too often. A lot of work has been done at underage level all the way through from the FAI, from 15, 16s. And you think back to when Noel King was in charge, and it was basically a way of just keeping the English lads involved. And they've done things a very different way.
Yeah, you were almost waiting for the guy to come over the intercom, weren't you, to announce that we hopefully would have qualified. That's a real kick in the teeth, I have to say. No worse way to go out either. Like you say, Nathan, there's been a lot of work done on under 20 level, 21 level, over the last 10 years or so, and you just feel that qualifying for that Euros would have been just reward for that work. But you got to go and do it. Unfortunately, to miss 3 penalties in the penalty shootout is just not good enough, is it?
Alright, so let's concentrate on what's going on here at Lansdowne Road. Ireland 2, Armenia 0 in this final game of the Nations League. First half goal from John Egan, second half cracker from Michael Obafemi. The other story of note, I guess, is that Jason Malumbi had to be taken off just before that Michael Obafemi goal. He was incredibly fortunate not to be sent off. He'd been booked in the first half for a silly challenge and then took back an Armenian midfielder. The referee was about to pull out the second yellow, saw it was Malumbi, said he'd let him off, bizarrely, and Stephen Kenny had no choice but to whip him straight off, because he was, well, I think the prior he'd seen from Jason Malumbi, he probably knew he wasn't going to be able to help himself. I think that's his game. He's a bit loose.
Yeah, he just got to let. Well, it's keen. He's aggressive, and you need those kind of players, and we need a Jason Malumbi. There's absolutely no doubt about it, and he's been excellent in the game, especially in that first 20 minutes or so, when he found himself almost like a magnet to the ball, and his use of the ball was very, very good. But I think he'll have to have a look at it now. He's been taken off quite early in the second half. You could see he didn't want to come off, but it's taken out of his hands. The manager had to make a decision, and hopefully he'll, still a young player, he'll learn from that, and next time might just be a little bit reserved. It's the fact that he's, the first couple of minutes in the second half, and he's pulling somebody silly, knowing that he's booked. Just couldn't take that risk.
All right, so the Armenian captain Haroyan steps out. And it's going to be the end of the road in all likelihood tonight for the Armenian manager Joaquin Kaparos. It all looked so well for them after they won that opening game against Ireland. And Yerevin, the keeper, I'm not sure what he's doing. He's inviting his defenders to come and help him out. He was down by the corner flag when he kicked that forward. He's given it away in a false for Obafemi. 25 yards out, lays it back then to Knight. Armenia get men back. There's a little clip in the heels of Knight. Surely referee allows play to continue again. He's a little off goal tonight, you'd have to say, the referee. And considering what happened with Malumbi, I don't think Ireland can have too many complaints about whatever goes against them at this stage. 66 minutes gone, still 2-0. We'll have all the reaction from tonight's game on OTB AM in the morning. We'll hear from the Irish players, from Stephen Kenny as well.
Game's going to hit that lull again, hasn't it? Similar to the first half after we got the goal. Just hasn't really opened up for us, but we have an opportunity here.
No sign of any more substitutes for Ireland at the moment, as Brady has it on the left hand side. Has had a good game so far, Robbie Brady, as cross comes off the Armenian defender, and then it bounces and bounces again inside the area, kept in play by Brady. Lays it further out to the left tonight. Support there from Howard, whips one in dangerously. Oh, and Doherty just can't turn it into the back of net. Between them, the Armenian keeper and left back managed to squeeze Doherty out of it, and I think it almost bounced through everybody.
Yeah, it's a hell of a ball, isn't it, from your hand? One of them balls where you're going to get the defender moving back towards his own goal. It could have very easily gone in off the defender. The keeper struggling even to get to it. Doherty just can't get himself in front. I'd like to see Ireland do maybe a little bit more of that, because it's really put Armenia in trouble. Once that, get the ball wide, delivery comes in early.
A sensational pass from Conor Howard. So much pace on it. Now Howard again, who very different type of midfielder, it's fair to say, from Jason Malumbi. Everything he does is very, very precise. Not quite as combative as Malumbi in the middle of midfield. They've probably got a bit more quality on the ball. Doherty forward to the rampaging Collins. Little backheel from Collins to Hendrick on the right hand side of the end. Hendrick runs into trouble though. The Armenians are dribbling it around inside their own area and then play it out to the left hand side. been quite a few passages of play like that from Ireland where the final ball just hasn't come off them.
To be fair to Collins, I think he's done everything right there. It's a surging run from that inside right position. And when he's nearly almost looked like he's gone to the byline, little back heel, I don't think Hendrick really read it. I just felt that maybe could have been a little bit more in contact with him. He would have had a surge and run into the box. Armenia making another change.
23, Vahan Bichakia.
So off goes Zalarian, and another change sees Vahan Bichakian come on for Armenia. You might remember Ireland under Stephen Kenny went through such a long spell where they massively struggled for goals. 3 in their last home game against Scotland, 2 already tonight. As Howerton calmly plays the ball out to the left-hand side. And Ireland just trying to invite the Armenians onto them a little bit. Collins is clipped by Bersagian. Did a lot of running and wanted to make sure he got somebody. So free kick to Ireland, midway inside the run half, just on this right-hand side. Reminder, the Irish under-21s have been beaten on penalties by Israel in their European Championship playoff. Sickening for Jim Crawford and his side to get that close to a first ever major final appearance. And back it goes for Ireland to John Egan. So remember, this will mean Ireland stay in League B. The other game in Group 1 of the Nations League still scoreless between Scotland and Ukraine. So as it stands, Scotland will be promoted to League A. If it stays like that, Ukraine has to win that game. Obafemi spins again and runs into a bit of trouble, but manages to win the ball back. Hendrick has it, turns away from the Armenian goal, and back into the centre circle he goes to O'Shea, who steps forward and then plays it out to the left-hand side to Brady. Back to Howerton again, whips in the first-time cross, but this time it's too high, and there's nobody really ready for it. And back into the arms of Yurchenko in the Armenian goal.
Yeah, obviously trying to repeat the one he did a couple of minutes earlier, which was a hell of a delivery, and had Armenia scull to run back, but Armenia costing the break here.
Ireland are coming back now as the shot comes over distance, hits the post. Oh, Bazunu got a touch on it, chance still there again, and they've scored, Armenia, out of absolutely nothing. It's a long distance strike from the substitute Bichakian, quite possibly his first touch of the ball, and he smashes it in from 25 yards out. Ireland were on the attack, but it was a blistering counter-attacking move from Armenia. The ball was played out onto the right-hand side. The initial effort came in. Gavin Bazunu saved, pushed it onto the post, and as Ireland failed to clear, it was fired back in from distance. And Armenia have, with their first real shot in anger of the game, got themselves a goal. It was actually Dashian who scored the goal. It was Bichakian who had the initial shot. So the two substitutes involved, and Ireland, having looked very, very comfortable, and was probably thinking, well, they'll get a third, maybe even a fourth at some stage, now suddenly find themselves back in a game inside the final 20 minutes.
Just go to show you, Nathan, you know, you take your eye off the ball for just a minute, an international level, you'll get punished in that particular case. I think it might have been O'Shea, might have gone a little bit of the reflection on the initial shot, because they certainly had Bazunu in a lot of trouble, but even when it comes up for the follow-on, I don't even think he's caught it right, but like, the real sucker punch for Ireland. Oh no.
And they're giving it away again, and now another opportunity, and it's the same man. Oh my God, it's 2 in 2 minutes for Armenia, and Edward Spurtsian, who scored the goal in Yerevan, has scored again for Armenia. What has just happened to the Republic of Ireland? 2 goals in 2 minutes, and it's Ireland 2, Armenia 2, Edward Spurtsian. Shot from the edge of the area, somehow crept under Gavin Bazunu after Conor Howerton was trying to play it across to his teammate 25 yards from goal, gives it straight to Spurtsian, didn't need a second invitation, pounced, and from 25 yards bends it in. I think Bazunu probably should have done better as well. Well, that is remarkable what we have just seen.
Well, Ireland has put themselves into an absolutely huge hole. They're playing themselves into trouble again. Armenia sends blood, putting us under huge pressure. We've only got ourselves to blame, Nathan. Just poor decision making again, a little bit like in the first half, but this time it's just total. Oh, it's just difficult to believe. I mean, that pass from Hurahan was just never on. It wasn't played with any kind of conviction. It was loose. Just invited Armenia onto us, and then everything just seems to be going past Gavin Bazunu now at the moment. And like I say, we're in a bit of a hole now. We've got to dig ourselves out quickly.
Well, that was so casual from Conor Howard, trying to play it across towards Nathan Collins. Obviously hadn't seen Spurtsian, who was in quickly, took the shot on. And again, I think Bazunu maybe could have got more on the initial shot, but it crept in under him. And now Ireland having, well, not just look comfortable, but in total control for the entire game, find themselves level at 2-2 with 17 minutes left. There's a late challenge there on Matt Doherty's. He'll have to spin away from Artak Dashian, who scored the first goal for Armenia. Well, I haven't seen anything like that in quite a while, where a team has been so comfortable. Armenia created absolutely nothing in this game and have scored twice in the space of 2 minutes. An absolute meltdown from Ireland.
Even the goal they scored, very similar to the goal they scored away, wasn't it? It was just a shot from distance, an opportunist shot from distance, but still too much time and space. Both goals, you know, you'd like to think at 2-0 up you need to be a little bit tighter at the back, and we were caught out on both occasions. But proud of trying to get behind this Irish team now, and
Callum Robinson is about to come on for Ireland.
Everyone's in shock.
Well, the Irish supporters try to rouse themselves. They say they're shell-shocked with what they've just seen. Free kick, it's 30 yards out to the right-hand side. It's going to be sent in by Robbie Brady. Collins goes up. Collins gets there. Oh, what a save by the keeper. And Armenia managed to clear their lines. Only as far as Howrahan, who smashes it over the top of the crossbar from the edge of the area. Should have hit the target. Oh, I thought Nathan Collins had put Ireland back in front there.
At the keeper, Nathan.
Straight at the keeper with the head on either side, and it's a goal.
Conor Howard just gets an opportunity to make amends, comes back out to him. The initial header from Collins is straight at the goalkeeper, comes out to Hurahan. Can he hit the target? Just keep it down. Just shows you maybe, obviously, still in shock after the poor pass he gave away that led to the second goal for Armenia. He balloons it straight over the bar. Ireland 15 minutes at least to get something back here.
So Troy Parrott has gone off to be replaced by Callum Robinson, and Jason Knight has gone off to be replaced by Alan Brown. I dare say Stephen Kennedy hoping that Alan Brown has a more positive impact than he did over in Scotland, and he gave away that bizarre free kick. And Ireland have a habit of shooting themselves in the foot, it seems. I'm still trying to get my head around exactly what happened. The first goal, Bazunu could have done better for the initial shot for the first goal as well, that he pushed onto the post.
I'll have to look at it again, Aidan. I thought it got a slight deflection off. No, they don't react to that, and the bodies are there. There's bodies behind the second strike. It's come through bodies, come through at least two Ireland defenders. No one gets a block on it, and it's just crept in that near post of Bazunu.
Now over on the left-hand side, Brady. Brown gets his first touch. Back to Brady again. Howrahan needs to redeem himself. That's the sort of thing that will haunt you for quite a while. And then drilled across. You still think back to that game against Slovakia and Conor Howrahan's miss.
Oh, don't, Nathan, don't.
They've given it away again. It's Obafemi this time. Howrahan dives in. Does he get the ball? He does just about. But the referee gives the free kick, and he's going to book Conor Howrahan here as well. There's a tackle from behind. He's going to book him. Well, again, he went to his pocket. Seems quite indecisive, this referee. 13 minutes left, by the way. It is Republic of Ireland 2, Armenia 2, and if I had said that was what the score was going to be 10 minutes ago, you would have thought I was mad, because Ireland was in a dominant position, as you would see. Game was in a little bit of a lull. They were very comfortable, had their goals from John Egan and Michael Obafemi. You thought they might get a third, or maybe it'd stay 2-0, because Armenia hadn't had a shot in anger. And then, well, maybe the Irish players were in the same casual mindset that I was in, because Armenia came away on the counter-attack, 71st minute, Artak Dashian scores, and within 2 minutes they've got an equaliser through Spurtsian, who's one of those names that is going to haunt Irish football, you feel, if it stays like this. As it stays like this, Ireland would still be in League B, but obviously everything takes on a greater meaning. Obafemi driving through the middle. He's done it once. Can he do it again? He goes to ground, and this time he gets a free kick, and that's an Armenian player who's already been booked. Behramian walks away, and again I think maybe because the referee let Malumbi away with it earlier, and he's going to let him away with it as well.
It's just part and parcel of being an Ireland supporter, isn't it, Nathan? We certainly don't do things the easy way.
Ireland take it short, take it quickly.
Doherty doesn't realise he's actually blown.
He thought the referee had blown the whistle, and he just stopped. The referee then allows play to continue, but Brown went it back. Now it's all gone a little bit chaotic now, which from the calmest, most pedestrian 10 minutes of football.
I'll tell you what happened, Nathan. The referee hadn't seen Robbie Brady play Doherty in early, and he just blew the whistle to take the free kick. And what's happened is Doherty thinks he's blown him up.
Stop it. It's got very messy. Ireland needs to be careful here. Their manager needs them to be careful. Still no Chio Bene for Ireland.
Just lost our shape. Brown has come on, and I think we need someone to kind of occupy that centre position. Hourihan has just kind of got his discipline has just gone too loose.
Robinson's out on the left-hand side. He can't pick out Brown. Hendrick wins an important header in midfield. At the feet of Robinson, he goes back to the halfway line and just calmed down by Robbie Brady. Collins rolls it out to the right-hand side to Doherty. Helped on then to Callum Robinson. Robinson sends the cross in. Up goes Brown. It's controlled in the edge of the area by Hendrick, and then the referee blows his whistle. Everybody waited and thought he might point to the spot. Instead he points for a free out. Irish fans not happy.
That's good delivery from Robinson to put it in early. I thought that Brown was definitely impeded here. No, nothing really the defender can do but that. Hendrick has been punished for a little shove. Doesn't need to do it with his arm. Keep your left arm down. Don't give away a foul there. Just indicative of the way the game has gone now. Nathan, having a look at the second goal from Armenia. When it's come out to him, oh Lord.
87 seconds between the two goals. The first of them was Armenia's first shot of the entire game. And it's something we said over the last few days, even for the Scotland game. The big moments in matches, Ireland have been found wanting. And those were two big moments that Armenia capitalised on. Remember, they've lost all 4 games since that victory against Ireland in Yerevan. They conceded 14 goals. And, well, it's understandable at this stage, even though Stephen Kenny has brought on experienced players, that Ireland's heads are a little bit all over the place.
No excuses, Nathan. You know, you're 2-0 up. It's a mentality thing. You know, if you think you have experienced players on the pitch, you should be able to get a shape on it, see out the game, 2-0, maybe even get a third. Our shape just completely went. We didn't seem to have anyone in that central midfield position occupying the area that Malumbi had been in. Hourihan had come on, but he has a tendency to drift off to the left, and all of a sudden there's a big gap now. And one long ball has put our back three under huge pressure. But even when you're shooting from distance, you still think you can be a little bit tighter. The Zooners had nothing to do in the whole game, as you said, and they just seem to have been caught out by it.
No Irish players warming up at the moment either.
And number 2, Andre Kalister, being replaced by number 6, Karim Mouradian.
So another change, another 2 changes, their final 2 changes. Mouradian comes on as well. Still a little bit shell-shocked by what we just saw 10 minutes ago. Ireland 2, Armenia 2, 8 minutes remaining. It's gone so crazy we're appealing for offside from a throw-in. Armenia have the ball deep inside the Irish half, over on the far side of the pitch. A little bit of space on the right-hand edge of the area. Ireland with 10 men back behind the ball. Lovely ball, and it's played back in, but Darragh Shea's in the right spot. The shot comes in from distance again. Oh, and it creeps just wide. Behramian had Bazunu at full stretch. Right-footed shot low through the legs of the Irish defender, and it drifts to the but right and wide. And then Ireland have just kicked the ball straight out of play. Gavin Bazunu, and their heads are gone.
Yeah, heads are gone.
And Stephen Kenny's head is on the block right now. Of all the possible outcomes, I think, Shuey, that we thought, this sort of shambolic ending to the game was not one of them. Ireland were in so much control on 70 minutes. Howard again expects a free kick, doesn't get it, stops playing, and Armenia have it back. What is going on out there? Someone needs to get to grips with this for Ireland. Here's the captain, Haroyan, midway inside the Irish half. Obafemi. Well, that stunner is going to be long since forgotten if it stays like this. Ireland managed to win the ball back, and here is Obafemi. Haroyan, crunching challenge. Cynical stuff. Surely he has to get a yellow card for that. That's terrible refereeing. He's absolutely clattered Michael Obafemi there.
That's a blatant yellow card, simple as that. But we just can't get bogged down with it. We need to get ourselves in the front foot here and just settle down. We are all over the shop at the moment.
Robbie Brady
no
over
one
the
in the box either.
Look, no Irish player in the box at all.
Obafemi struggling.
Obafemi, I think, might have a dead leg after that challenge. Stephen Kenny again looks, and I think feels he may need to make a change. He's looking to get the physio on. Here is Obafemi as he got out and left in the tank. No, he's struggling at the moment, Michael Obafemi. He just can't get back, and now the ball is played over the top for Bayramian. He's got O'Shea for company. He's on the right hand angle of the area. He's drifting out to the right hand side, waits for a bit of support, needs him to come. Eventually comes, but it's given back to Ireland. Robinson has it, still inside his own half, over on the left-hand touchline. Thinks the ball inside to Alan Brown. There's no movement from the Irish players at all. Howard's just sitting in front of the back three, but now he releases Nathan Collins, who doesn't need any encouragement to come forward. Plays it on then to Doherty on the right-hand touchline. Doherty brings it inside. Plenty of players inside the area. Tries to whip across in and gets the corner kick. Does he? He does. A long way. Took a little deflection. Keeper thought he kept it in play. And the assistant referee took a long look at it. Michael Obafemi is dropped to the ground. It does come off. Spurtsian. And a chance for Ireland just to draw breath. 5 minutes left. Ireland 2, Armenia 2.
Number 9, Michael Obafemi, being replaced by number 19, Scott Hogan.
Scott Hogan coming on for Obafemi. Obafemi is up and running. Well, will we be talking about that goal after this game? It was a special moment yet again provided by Michael Obafemi. Shot from distance from 25 yards, drilled it low into the bottom corner of the net. 2-0 up at that stage, absolutely cruising. How have Ireland ended up in this situation? Scott Hogan on for his 12th appearance, scoring freely at club level, never scored from his country. Now would be the time, Scott. Corner kick for Ireland, down to our right hand side. Robbie Brady over it. Brady sends it in, decent delivery again, bounces inside the 6-yard box. Shot blocked down, appeals for a handball from everybody. Referee takes a long hard look at it. Ball cleared by Armenia, back to Bazunu, who's 20 yards outside his penalty area. Sends it long again, left-footed, up towards Robinson. Ball bounces away from the Irish attackers, given straight back to them. O'Shea to Robinson. Goes down under the challenge, looked as though the Armenian player won the ball. He did win the ball.
Armenia have the energy now, Nate, and they're winning everything. Second balls, starting to put us under serious pressure as well on the break. Coming down the right-hand side now, they just found a new lease of life.
Collins has gone across over there to try and help out. Back in it comes to Grigorian. And then, hold up. Referee's blown his whistle. I think we're going to go back and have a look at that handball.
Penalty, is it?
Potential penalty check. It was an Armenian player who I think was on the ground. This is a big moment in this match, and potentially a big moment in Stephen Kenny's future. He's going to have a look at it, the referee. He's going to have a look at it. Is this the stroke of luck that Stephen Kenny and the Republic of Ireland have needed? The referee, Rade Obrenovic, strolls across to take a look at this potential handball.
It's a handball, all right.
Potentially the fate of Stephen Kenny in his hand.
Absolute straightforward.
It's a clear handball. Surely the referee takes one look. He's taking another look. The Armenian players are coming across.
It's shot on goal.
They're showing it on the big screen. You can hear from the cheers the Irish players feel it's a handball. He's off balance. He's still having a look.
But hang on, Nathan. Any handball that blocks a shot on goal is a straight penalty. End of story. Have a look here, Nathan. Yeah, it's on target.
O'Shea's shot. It comes off Deschamps' left arm. Referee's taking 3, 4, 5 looks at it. What's he thinking?
Come on, referee.
What's he thinking? He's telling the Armenian players to calm down. He's walking back towards the penalty area, and he says, penalty kick. Oh, what drama. Yellow card for an Armenian player for complaining. 88 minutes. Republic of Ireland 2, Armenia 2, red card. Humbert Sumyan gets a second yellow card and he's gone. Armenia down to 10 men.
They're showing it again on the screen. I mean, it's on target. The hand has stopped it from going on goal. It's pretty straightforward, and it's just unfortunate that it looks so obvious when you look back at it in real time. How did they not see it during the game, the referee?
Another yellow card for the man who handled it, Dashian.
Robbie Brady, isn't Nathan? He looks to be the closest to it anyway.
And another red card. Wow. It is complete and utter chaos. And Artak Dashian, who scored the first Armenian goal, has been sent off as well. They're complaining down with the fourth official. There's pushing and shoving going down. And Armenia are going to finish this game, if it ever finishes, with 9 players. 2 sent off for their appeals to the referee. All of this, of course, delaying the taking of the penalty kick. Callum Robinson scored Ireland's last penalty kick as part of that hat-trick in the 4-0 win against Qatar a year ago. Robbie Brady scored the one in Lyon against France back in 2016. If you know Robbie Brady, you want him to step up and stick this into the back of the net. There are few who take as much pride in pulling on the green jersey as this man. 2 long years waiting to start for the Republic of Ireland. We're past the 90 minutes on a day of penalty heartbreak for the 21s. Can Robbie Brady produce a big moment? Brady against Yurchenko.
Come on, Robbie.
In the most chaotic and controversial scenes you'll see at Lansdowne Road. Brady in front of the Irish support. He's going to hit it left-footed. Draw breath. Here comes Brady. Score! Yes! Robbie Brady punches the sky. Republic of Ireland 3, Armenia 2. I don't know how the hell we've ended up here, but Robbie Brady has surely won the match for the boys in green. Oh, that will mean so much. He scored on so many big moments for the Republic of Ireland. It's the final game of the Nations League. It feels like so much more than that right now, though.
It's like the final of the World Cup, Nathan.
I don't know how Ireland found themselves in this position. Remember, it was Republic of Ireland 2, Armenia 0. They hadn't had a single shot on goal, the Armenians, on 70 minutes. They scored twice inside 90 seconds, and now they're going to finish the game with 9 men after 2 players were sent off for protesting the awarding of that penalty kick. VAR, we will never doubt you again.
My God, how can you not love this game? We have just gone through a lifetime of emotion in the space of, what is it, 10 minutes?
I think we might have about 20 minutes of injury time. Well, Stephen Kenny, when they go back to the team hotel in Castleknock tonight, I'd say he might buy Robbie Brady a pint. And listen to that noise.
Got to be closer.
I'm sure Stephen Kenny feels that he probably hasn't had much luck as a Republic of Ireland manager. Starting out in COVID times, we think back to that game against Luxembourg, the shallowness of the occasion, the emptiness of the stadium. Well, how big was that moment as Nathan Collins smashes it forward? We're not done yet. I couldn't see how much injury time there was. 5 minutes, they say. I think there could well be 6 or 7. And Ireland just need to calm heads now for these few moments.
I think you're looking at definite 6 minutes, Nathan. There's been a lot going on. We need to just... We're still a little bit flustered here. We haven't found our shape. Free kick out for Ireland. That's just what we need.
Carlsberg, man of the match, is Republic of Ireland's number 9.
Hendrick and Huron having a word with each other. We just need to settle it down. Totally calm it down. Armenia haven't given up on this. They are running around, just trying to get the ball back.
Nathan Collins has it. Well, there'll be some serious questions asked after this yet again as to how Ireland let Armenia back into this game. But somehow they have dug it out, we think. 3 minutes of injury time gone.
I think it's 5, is it? Yeah.
5 to be played, but it was about 91 and a half, I think, by the time Brady took the penalty. So we'll see what the referee has come up with. Remember, Armenia down to 9 men. Hambart Sumyan and Dashian both sent off for the protest. And then the run forward by Scott Hogan. He's a mile offside. I don't know what they were... Well, they're obviously annoyed. It's the 90th minute. Emotions run high, but it was a clear handball.
It was just the time it took, Nathan. They'd gone up the pitch, they were on the attack, and all of a sudden Ireland won a free kick. I mean, we're talking about probably a minute later. I don't know why it takes that long, and to be fair, you called in commentary. I don't see why the referee didn't even see it in commentary, but he needs the VAR to be a little bit quicker there, to be quite honest. It looks, it's a straightforward penalty to me, no question about it. Just why it took so long is just frustrating from everyone's point of view.
Hendrick gets in. Howrahan. Well, if I say Stephen Kenny might buy Robbie Brady a pint, I think Conor Howrahan might be buying him pints for the rest of his life. It was a horrible mistake from Howrahan that allowed Armenia in for their equaliser. Remember, just 90 seconds. Feels like a lifetime ago since John Egan headed Ireland in front after 17 minutes. We'll now be able to fondly remember Michael Obafemi's stunner that put Ireland 2-0 up. Though Armenia have it back in midfield as a challenge from behind from Doherty. Goes through the back of Spertsian, and it means it's a free kick to Armenia, just a couple of yards inside the Irish half, and one last chance for the visitors to just smash it forward. Ireland need to hold their nerve. We're over the allotted 5 minutes of injury time. This will surely be it.
I don't know, Nathan. I think there's at least another minute to go, especially after what happened in the penalty.
Biramyan fires it towards the edge of the area. Darrow Shea goes up and wins it. Now maybe Ireland coming to counter. Through from Robinson, hit it too early, way in front of Scott Hogan, and he gives it straight back to the goalkeeper, Yurchenko. Referee hasn't looked at his watch in the last couple of seconds. Yurchenko just fires it straight onto the head of Matt Doherty, who heads it behind him towards Collins. A bit of hesitancy before he eventually gets it back to Bazunu. Oh, this is nervy stuff from Ireland. Calmly chested down then by Alan Brown, but he loses out in the little physical battle there, and Armenia are the ones who emerge with the ball. Rikagorian. Heavy touch though allows Robinson into pounce. He turns then, and again it opens up for Ireland. If Robinson can pick out the right pass, this time I think he's going to try and slow it down and maybe take it to the corner. 1-2 with Howrahan still, and now Scott Hogan's through. Chance for his first international goal. Hogan misses. Oh, how did he not score? Cutting in from the left-hand side, opened his body up, tried to side-foot it into the back of the net, and somehow puts it an inch to the right and wide. That had to be it. Armenia fire it out of play. Bring back friendlies.
Oh, Lord almighty. He's got to score, hasn't he, Hogan? He's got to score. Straightforward for him. Just guide it into that far corner. It's a lovely little through pass from Colin Robbins. To be fair, he would have every right to have ran into the corner with that, but chose to, go forward, slot in Hogan, but needs to score.
Heading towards the 97th minute. Ireland, the ball at the feet of Bazunu. Referee takes a long, hard look at his watch. Fired down towards the Armenian keeper. He collects it. Is that it? Again, another look from the referee. And what you hear is an almighty sigh of relief around the Aviva Stadium. The Republic of Ireland have beaten Armenia by 3-2. A 5-goal thriller that, well, it's inexplicable what we have seen over the past 25 minutes. For 70 minutes of this game, it went according to the game plan. Ireland had got their goals in the first half. through John Egan, a header from a Robbie Brady corner kick, and then a 25-yard smasher from Michael Obafemi to put them 2-0 up on 52 minutes. 70 minutes gone, it was comfortable. Ireland were going through the motions. It felt like they might even go and get a third at some stage. But then out of absolutely nothing, Armenia scored 2 goals in the space of 90 seconds. First up, it was Darshan, the substitute, finishing off a counter-attack. The initial shot came in, it hit the post. Mishakian's shot came out to Darshan and he fired in from 25 yards out. And almost from the restart, Conor Howrahan gifted the ball straight back to Armenia. And it was Spurtian who had scored the goal right at the start of this campaign that beat Ireland in Yerevan. He scored again from 25 yards. Everybody was absolutely shell-shocked. Ireland 2, Armenia 2. It was a helter-skelter final 20 minutes. Ireland put on the pressure, and then, much to the relief of Stephen Kenny and everybody, after an agonising wait, the Republic of Ireland were awarded a penalty kick thanks to VAR. The protest of the Armenian players saw Hambart Sumyan sent off and Dashian sent off. They were down to 9 men. There was a good 5-minute break before Robbie Brady, on his first international start in almost 2 years, stepped up and with his left foot slid it into the bottom left-hand corner. Ireland 3, Armenia 2. They will play in League B for the next Nations League as well. And to be quite honest, looking around Aviva Stadium, I don't think anybody knows what to make of that. I don't think anybody knows where Ireland are right now. They have got the win somehow, Stuart.
Oh, pause for breath, Nathan. I can't feel my legs. I'm afraid to even stand up. I've never seen 20 minutes of football like it, especially not at international level, especially not here in Lansdowne Road. Incredible. I mean, Ireland in so much control, deservedly 2-0 up at the time, and then inexplicably, well, not inexplicably, there are obvious reasons as to why they just suddenly shot themselves in the foot. They have to have a look at that. I mean, let's just take it first things first. We've dug ourselves out of we first of all put ourselves into a huge hole, and then we managed to get ourselves out of it. But there has to be words. We have to speak amongst ourselves as a group in that dressing room after and say what went wrong. How did we lose our shape? How did we suddenly go from being comfortably 2-0 up to being 2-2 and looking in danger of possibly conceding a third? But look, the game has ended with a win, and to be fair, let's just focus maybe on Robbie Brady, who's had an awful few years. He was such a hero for Ireland for most of his career. Probably thought he probably wouldn't put the Ireland jersey on again, and he's come out the hero tonight, so well done to him. Well, Robbie Brady thought he would never score a more important goal than that night in Lille. For Stephen Kenny, that one will feel like it is right up there. And even for himself, Nathan, he'll just give, I don't know, I feel like Robbie probably just needed something for himself in an Ireland jersey. He's so passionate about his country. We've seen that down the years, him celebrating with his family in the crowd. He is Irish through and through, as are all the players, but for him personally, I think it's a wonderful story. We're going to draw breath. It is finished at the Aviva Stadium. Republic of Ireland 3, Armenia 2. More to come from Joe and Stewie.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky, get all the football you love in one place across Sky Sports, BT Sport and Premier Sports.
Lunchtime Live.
Who should take responsibility, and why hasn't it happened already then if it's so common, Martin?
I suppose the organisation itself, Andrea, needs to come down heavily on aggressors. That's people who either verbally abuse match referees or opposing players, because we've seen it happening at underage games lately as well.
Lunchtime Live with Andrea Gilligan.
Brought to you by Avant Money.
Weekdays at midday on News Talk.
What would I do on holiday in Northern Ireland? Well, you could spend the day exploring Castle Cool. It's a magnificent 18th century estate. Go on a Donna Fox tour. Tell them I said hi. They'll show you all the hidden gems in Armagh. Oh, Balahi Bakehouse do great seasonal classes, especially this time of year. Ask for Brona. I couldn't recommend it more.
When you go on holiday, you want to see it how the locals see it. Plan that much-needed getaway and get local recommendations at discovernorthernireland.com. Northern Ireland, a small step to a giant adventure.
Escape the autumn hustle and bustle with GoBreaks.ie. Get an extra €5 off in over 350 hotels nationwide. With GoBreaks, you can save up to 25% and breakfast is always free. Whether it's a weekend with your bestie or a romantic getaway, get an extra €5 off when you book by October 3rd. Go experience, go explore with GoBreaks, as recommended by News Talk. GoBreaks. T's and C's at GoBreaks.ie.
Are you worried that someone you love is in suicidal distress?
When you recognise the signs of suicide, you can help a loved one begin their journey towards hope.
Go to pieta.ie to learn the warning signals and see the simple steps that you can take to help.
Know suicide. Know the signs.
Pieta, ending suicide, beginning hope.
October the 5th is Tyre Safety Day. The Irish Tyre Industry Association, RSA and An Garda Síochána will be roadside, advising motorists to stay safe with regular tyre checks. Dangerous tyres have cost too many lives on Irish roads, and if found driving with defective tyres, you could be liable for a fine and up to 4 penalty points. Always get expert and accurate tyre safety advice from any member of ITIA who will check your tyres for free. Don't chance it, check it. Visit itia.ie to find your nearest registered member.
Want unbeatable value from Sky? Here's the deal. Get Sky Broadband for just €29 a month, plus Sky Q for only €10 a month. Super fast, super reliable broadband. And Sky Q with your apps and recordings. That's Sky Broadband for €29 a month, plus Sky Q for €10 a month for 12 months. Now that is unbeatable value. Go to sky.ie. Availability subject to location. Offer does not include Sky TV subscription. New Sky customers only. Setup fees, minimum term and further terms apply. For more info, see sky.ie/speeds.
Football on Off the Ball.
With Sky. Watch Premier League, Women's Super League, EFL, Scottish Premiership and much more. Live on Sky Sports.
Draw breath. Here comes Brady. Scores! Yes! Robbie Brady punches the sky. Republic of Ireland 3. Armenia 2. I don't know how the hell we've ended up here, but Robbie Brady has surely won the match for the boys in green.
He surely had, and he surely did. 3-2 Republic of Ireland winners against Armenia. Stuart Byrne has watched that game alongside Nathan and myself. How am I meant to feel about all this now, Stewie? This was meant to conclusively settle down Stephen Kenny talk.
Yeah. Oh God! Do you know what? I just kind of I feel conflicted a little bit. Just, you know, obviously, look, that's an emotional roller coaster. I haven't experienced 25 minutes of football like that. I can't even think the last time I did. It was probably in schoolboy or something crazy like that out in the lawn in Cherry Orchard or something. But to be honest, from a player supporter's point of view, Joe, I'm sure. Look, I imagine they're all walking out talking about it. They're probably elated, but I can't help feeling from a player's point of view, if I was in that dressing room, I'd be furious.
Well, there was
there has to be sort of a controlled anger about the whole thing, because you have, you know, as professional footballers, you have to look and see what went wrong. How did we suddenly go from being comfortably 2-0 up to, in the space of a minute and a half, being 2-2 and then looking like losing the game, you know? And so you do have an obligation as a professional footballer to ask those questions, to ask those serious questions, and I'd like to think that the group would do it. I don't think, like you can't stand here and say something Stephen Kenny's done has caused that, because it hasn't. He has to make the change with Malumbi. You know, it's self-inflicted. He has to do it. All of a sudden, you know, you have to put your trust in the players that 2-0 up. You know, there's good communication going on. There's a structure. There's a shape, and we just lost it. We just completely lost that. You know why we have to kind of, you know, the third goal would have come if we had to continue to do the right things, but then all of a sudden, I think Conor Hourihane kind of lost his central position a little bit, started to drift a little bit to the left side of the pitch, which he tends to do, and then there's big gaps starting to appear. But we've got experienced players in that back three that should be able to say, hang on a second, lads, get it in tight, you know, shore it up. But I mean, look, I'm trying to focus on Robbie, to be quite honest with you, because I do think it's been such a difficult period for him. I'm not trying to you know, put some sort of cover on it, and I've no doubt that there's questions being asked in the dressing room. But what a night!
The euphoria in the stadium at full time was completely at odds with the body language of the players at full time. There wasn't a single Irish player who put hands in the air or gave a fist bump to a man when the full-time whistle went. They stopped, put their hands on their shoulders, looked down at the ground. Some of them bent over, put their hands on their knees, kind of a thing. A sense of relief, probably a sense of disappointment, anger as well. And so none of them even went to walk to each other initially to give a high five or a hug. All of the things you see when, well, you usually see when you have a last-minute winner. It was none of that. It was a sense of deflation amidst all the euphoria of the stadium, because those players know.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's relief. I think it's initially relief, and then it will turn very quickly to frustration, and there'll be one or two pretty pissed, to be quite honest with you, because
Stewie, that 10 minutes had the potential to really undermine.
Destroy everything, Joe. Destroy everything. Completely agree. Sorry, not just 10 minutes. It could have been a minute and a half of madness. Could have totally undermined at least 2 years. Absolutely, I totally agree. And it's, just as you're saying, I'm thinking in my head going, because unfortunately that's the way the world thinks. Yeah. And they'd have a right to think that way, to be quite honest with you. But yeah, absolutely, relief from the players. And then that relief, I've no doubt, will turn to a little bit of frustration in the dressing room. And there could be one or two words said. I don't think there'd be any players pointing fingers at each other, but they have to sort out what happened. They have to sort out what happened, because that just cannot happen again, because that's Armenia.
There has to be a degree of, lads, we're 2 years in.
Yeah.
We've got a European Championships in March. Can we really say we're ready if this is going on?
Yeah.
We can't make that much of a mountain out of beating Armenia and hope to qualify for the Euros. And here we are 2 years in, and it's last minute stuff, and it's VAR decision, and it's heads going in our half for about 90 seconds to 2 minutes there. We were all over the shop. It was panic stations. And again, if you were 6 months in or even a year in, you might say, okay, they're getting there. But we're 2 years in. This is the culmination of 2 years to get ready for the Euros. So based on that, unfortunately, you can't approach the Euros next year with confidence. You go and hope.
Yeah, I can't disagree with that. I mean, I just think it may be. It just might be the kick in the arse we need as well, and throughout this,
and a few kick in the arse.
Yeah, but I was just going to say we have had a few kick in the arses, and to be honest, there's nothing wrong with getting a good kick as long as you react to it in the right way. And there has to be a reaction to this. There has to be serious conversation amongst the players. We have to realise that when we're in a position like that, you can't lose your shape. You can't think that these are here for the taking, these are gone now, we've gotten that second, this is Armenia. There has to be that constant attention to detail, that constant professionalism. We had them by the neck, we had them by the throat. That's what we, or in the boxing analogy, we had them on the ropes, and you just need to continue to do the right things and then put them on the canvas. End of story. And what do? We just back off, allow them to come back into the game, and then 80 seconds, 90 seconds of absolute chaos.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, you would say it's not like Ireland handed them the initiative and they had 10 minutes of pressure before their first goal. Their first goal came out of nothing and out of nowhere, and then the second goal just came, 30, 40 seconds afterwards. So it was an odd footballing moment for those 2 minutes for two goals to come out of nowhere like that.
Just had a look at the first goals. It's playing back on the screen here. Goalkeeper's got it in his hands. He's rolled it out centrally, Armenian midfielder, and he's just turned and run right down the spine of the pitch.
Yeah, we're wide open.
Offloaded it.
Conor Heron had just put in a bad cross.
Yeah, but because Conor has a natural tendency to drift to that left-hand side because he likes to deliver it in from there. So what do you do if your central midfielder drifts over to the left-hand side?
You find someone to fill
your
the
right side just comes into the field. It's really basic stuff, Joe. I mean, it really is.
That's almost an arrogance of we don't need to get in shape to handle these.
Yeah, and I hate to say that, because I know if you were to say that to an Irish player now, there would be, you'd want to punch it in the face, to be quite honest with you. But there has to be an honest conversation about how that's happened.
Yeah, deep down I know it's true, because if they were playing Germany, they would have had someone sit there and ready for it and be on their toes. Yeah, but they thought, we're 2-0 up, it'll be okay.
And that's where we need to improve. We have no right to beat anybody, and so therefore regardless of who you're playing, you always keep doing the right things, and that's what that's what the top players, that's what the top teams do. Regardless of who they're playing against, they just keep doing the right things, and when they go 1-0 up, they just keep going, 2-0, keep going, put you to the sword. But we got caught tonight, we got caught badly. However, it's happened before. It's happened against Luxembourg. It's happened in the game away against Armenia. It's happened in I'm trying to think of the game here. I don't know whether it was Azerbaijan or Oman. We got caught by a goal from distance. It's this sort of there's something there that needs to be eradicated, and it needs to be we sort of need to accept it as a group. So it's it's pause for thought time. We come into a period now where we're going to play 2 very good friendlies. And
then the Euros. Then it's here.
And then it's the Euros, which is going to come around very, very quickly.
You mentioned Robbie Brady. That's a real positive. I think we should maybe finish, if we finish on something, given that it hasn't been a complete disaster. Michael Obafemi.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, considering that he's not playing much at club level, looks like he really thrives on playing in the Ireland jersey. And look, we've got somebody there that can just get you a goal out of nothing. And he's been excellent now in the last 3 games that he's played for Ireland. And there's took his goal extremely well, goal out of nothing as well. I think even though we didn't play too well tonight, or we certainly could have played a lot better, it's always a good sign when you can get goals when you're not at your best. So you got Egan's goal from a set piece, you'll take them all day. But the Obafemi goal, outstanding, and a real find there. Got to keep him fit. We would love to see him play at club. If we can get more regular football, it'd be a huge bonus to us, and that's something that needs to happen.
We've seen Callum Robinson bubble up and do his thing for a couple of games, but it never felt sustainable. At least here in Obafemi, you're seeing now, second game in however many, that he's good touch and turn, confidence to shoot from distance, and ability to score a goal out of nothing like that. This team needs more of that, and at least there are good signs on that front. What about Troy Parrott? How did he go this evening?
I think what you'll always get from Troy is that he'll always work hard. I think, to be fair, tonight he was certainly found himself on the periphery of the game, and as much as he tried to get involved, and he did on a couple of occasions that first half, just wasn't able to kind of get himself into the game, and that might not necessarily be his fault. I just think Ireland as a whole struggled to kind of break down Armenia. And that's something that we really have to work on. But he's only going to get better, Joe. And I think he's proved that he can put it in the back of the net as well.
Well, we are done at the Aviva. I think we can say that's a conclusive game to sum up the Stephen Kenny era. I mean, that's answered all the questions. We are done. Thank you very much, Stewie.
Thanks, Joe.
OTB AM tomorrow morning. David Myler will be on with the lads. Kenny Cunningham will be in studio tomorrow evening. So plenty more coverage from across the board on tonight's game. A 3-2 win. A win is a win is a win. It's a results business, is what we kept saying on Saturday night. So I guess a win counts somewhat this evening. But a few more questions to be answered, you suspect. Stephen Kenny's press conference will be available as well across OTB Sports channels in the coming hours. He's just about to sit down with the media. We're done for this evening. Tom Dunn on the way.